Welcome to the Barber Motorsports Park and welcome to rounds 24, 25, 26 and 27 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Good evening everyone, welcome to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and on Motors TV. The championship is getting quite underway now and Wojciech Davidovich is at the top of the standings. I'm Adam Bath and alongside me this week is Alex Simpson, iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series driver. And Alex, well, we were at the Nürburgring last week and we're at Barber now. And Barber, to be fair, even though it's much shorter than the Nürburgring, there are quite a few tendencies of it that do carry over here.
Yeah, exactly. You've got plenty of curbs to worry about and, the Armco is pretty close to the track in places as well. So if we see some accidents, especially in those first few turns, then we could see a repeat of what we saw in the early going last week. Let's hope not though, because Barber's a good circuit, and I think in the Kia it opens it up a little bit. Some of you take the high-speed single-seaters around here, like the IndyCar obviously goes here in real life, and you really struggle to get overtakes done, even with like push-to-pass and things like that. The hairpin is the best place to get it done, and possibly into turn one as well if drivers make a mistake coming out that final corner. But it is going to be tough for the drivers. I think the Kia just might open it up just a little bit. Maybe we'll see a few more overtakes. Massive grid, so it's going to be a lot of fun to see everybody just trying to flow through that first lap. It's going to be really exciting.
And I know we don't often pick up on it, but the drivers will be racing in 4 different types of conditions. We've got the sunrise here for race 1, and then the daytime conditions for races 2 and 3, and then in race 4 we've got the sunset conditions. So, well, that will affect the cars quite a bit as well.
No doubt. Of course, we know how much this car gets affected by track temperature. It takes so much longer for the tyre pressures to build up on the rear when the temps are quite low, and the car just skates around all over the place. And so in these morning and sort of dusk conditions, like we're going to see a bit later on, those temperatures are going to be quite a bit lower. If we have any kind of cloud cover as well, it really is going to make that a whole load worse. During when we're in the afternoon conditions, it should be fine. I don't expect we'll see too much as long as the temperature doesn't drop too dramatically. I mean, I think there's been a few posts kicking around in the forum in the last couple of weeks as well, in the iRacing forum, describing exactly this problem. Some people saying, oh, it's actually temperatures. Yeah, it's a bit of pressure, it's a bit of both kind of thing. So just the weird old tyre model, and hopefully we'll get an update on that. I was seeing some information that they're beavering away working on version 7, and hopefully these tyre sensitivity issues will be a thing of the past soon.
I've also been seeing reports about actual BTCC cars possibly be included in iRacing in the near future. We'll mention more of that as the evening goes on. Qualifying for race 24 then is underway. We'll run you through the provisional grid in a moment. We'll look at the Drivers' Championship first though. Wojciech Davidovich 78 points ahead of Michael Schellbach. Simon Field, who led the championship for the opening few rounds, is down in 3rd. Stanislav Chepelevsky in 4th ahead of Alex Smolensky in 5th, only a few points between them, and then it's 8 points back to Richard Gore in 6th, 7th Colin Cunniff, 8th Ross Balfour, 9th Ben Hackerson, and rounding out your top 10 in the Drivers' Championship it is George Simmons. Over in the Pro-Am standings, Paul Smith leads them by 30 points over Nick McCarron. Roy Ververke is in 3rd, Jay Wright 4th, Craig Evans in 5th, John Roberts, the Pro-Am Series champion from last season, is in 6th, Liam Atkins 7th, Laura Bond 8th, Scott Malcolm in 9th, and Matt Bunn rounding out the top 10 in that championship. And finally, over in the team standings, we've got Alphalatech leading Apex Racing by 143 points. Alphalatech, they're new to the championship, of course, and Apex Racing now looks like a pro team. They were a Pro-Am team at the start of the championship, but I think since Richard Gore has left the Pro-Am championship and become a full-time pro driver, they've changed as well. Friction Racing in 3rd, Simpson Racing in 4th, Sim Racer and Race Hub 5th and 6th, and I didn't really expect that at the start of the season. 7th Engine All Direct, 8th the CQR Academy team, 9th Eclectic Motorsport, and in 10th is Eurochip Digital.
Yeah, just want to touch on obviously the Apex. It's not only Richard Gore, but also Sebastian moved over and as a pro as well, even though he's a reserve. That of course bumped the team up as well into the back into the pro status. So I think it's where they need to be honest. And we've got a few reserves, of course. Jamie Fluke missed a few weeks now. Has had a lot of PC problems as well. So I know he's got a lot of university work going on right now. His final dissertation to go in there, so he's probably beavering away at that, but not what he wants. Any case, PC problems. So hopefully he'll get those sorted very, very soon.
Another of those reserve drivers is Andrew Woodhouse, our commentary colleague here. Has got a sore throat this week. He'll be racing for Apex Racing there as a reserve driver as well. Just under a minute left of qualifying. Michael Shellback is on provisional pole position at the moment. The man who's second in the championship is on the front of the grid at the moment. Selin Chapelevsky second, Wojciech Savidovic third, Dan Kraft fourth, Jamie Rushworth is in fifth at the moment. Sixth, Ben Hackerson. Seventh, Nathaniel Simpson. 8th, Dan Hunt. Good to see him up there. He usually does well on these North American venues. 9th, Michael Hall. 10th, brilliantly, is Laura Bond, the Pro-Am driver there. Hasn't taken a win yet in the BSR TC, lying 8th in the Pro-Am standings. Great qualifying from her at the moment.
Yeah, great job. Let's hope she can maintain that. We've been and always a bit of a supporter of Laura. Want to see her get on that podium and win a race. So yeah, let's just hope she's in that sort of right position. You never know how the reverse grids can work out. Got a few. Looks like we're missing Alex Everett from the driver data. So if you were wondering who that missing driver is, currently sat in P13. That's who that is. Dave Baker way down in 15th.
Yeah.
Just sort of scouting through, just seeing other names. Lee Berridge 22nd, had such a good week last time out at the Norse Life. So really sort of excelled there, and just carry on flicking through. Kit Stevens down in 26, Colin Cunniff 27th as well, so I expect to see him up there a little bit higher on. Russell Laidler down there as well, who is in 38, Nathan Davis. So yeah, a couple of drivers missing. Must have had some late minute reserves added to it. Richard Gore all the way down in 37th. Has he even set a time yet?
Doesn't look like it, no.
No. So
it looks like he won't be either. The checkered flag is out, so the drivers will be finishing their laps now. Andrew Woodhouse, by the way, hasn't set a time either, so he'll be starting towards the rear of the grid. David Baker, yeah, not been a good start to the championship for him. The Season 7 champion, always been known with consistency. Unfortunately, he's missed a few rounds. And yeah, the racer with CQR driver for this season, languishing down in 28th position in the standings. I'll just see if anyone's going to improve their time. Doesn't look like it at the moment. Richard Gore, yeah, as Alex was saying, hasn't set a time in this session either. Simon Field, the man that's third in the championship, down in 20th position. We'll run you through the full starting lineup there now for race 24 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Michael Shellback is on pole position then. Selin Chapelevsky alongside him on the front row. It's an all of Alpha Tech front row. The leaders of the team's championship, they're doing a fantastic job in qualifying. Wojciech Savidovic in third. Dan Kraft in fourth, getting friction racing up there. Fifth, Jamie Rushworth. Sixth, Colin Cunniff. 7th, Steve Hefford. 8th, Ben Hackerson. 9th for Nathaniel Simpson, and 10th it is Alex Smolensky. 11th, Dan Hunt dropped down a few positions just towards the end of that qualifying session. Michael Hall in 12th. Laura Bond 13th. 14th for Jake Blackhall. 15th, Alex Everett. David Baker in 16th. 17th, Ashley Sutton, the Dunlop MSA BTCC driver, back here once again for a race meeting. 18th, Paul Smith. 19th, Matt Bunn. 20th, Simon Field. Philip Johansson in 21st, Roy Ververke 22nd, Cesare Rizzo 23rd, Lee Berridge 24th, John Roberts is in 25th position on the grid, 26th for Liam Atkins, 27th Kip Stephens, 28th Nick McCarron, 29th Diego Melro, and then 30th is Andrew Brown, 31st Russell Laidler, not a good qualifying for him, 32nd Scott Malcolm, 33rd for Craig Evans, 34th Stuart Atkinson, 35th Mark Johnston, 36th, Jörg Dankert. 37th, Steve Richardson. 38th, Peter Van Gaal. And then the cars that did not set a lap time. 39th down to 47th. And there, Ross Balfour, Julian Janowski, Rob Fagg, Pete Newman, Richard Gore, Nathan Davis, a newcomer to the championship, Jay Wright, Robert Graham, and then starting all the way down in 47th on the grid, our commentary colleague, Andrew Woodhouse.
We need to obviously emphasise as well that you said, he's got a sore throat, like it's a bit of nothing, and he's being an absolute wuss over it. But if you've heard him,
it doesn't sound good.
he's pretty rough, so there was no way he was going to be able to commentate tonight. So the admins have invited him in to have a little play.
He'll be doing his talking on the track, that is for sure. 10 laps of racing then, 4 10-lap races. And Michael Shellback and Chepelevsky there on the front row of the grid. Look at the cars stretching round the back of this Barber last corner. It's a good track here in North America. Hosts some good IndyCar races. and I'm sure he'll be doing the same for the BSRTC. We raced here last season, and had some good races there as well. In fact, Andrew Woodhouse raced here last season, ended up on his roof. Hopefully he doesn't do the same tonight.
Yeah, trying to defend from Wojciech back then, so who knows how the reverse grid might go. But Andrew, not totally unfamiliar with the car now, obviously doing quite well in the club series, so which is on a Sunday night. But yeah, let's go to you, Adam, for the start of this race.
Here we go then. Race 24 of the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship is underway. Shelbach gets away well. Chepelevsky trying to go around the outside, and Shelbach cuts across straight away to get the best line into turn 1. And look at that, down the inside straight away. Rushworth trying to get past Dan Kraft, heading up towards turn 2. And Savidovic might try and poke his nose down the inside as we head up over this crest and down the back straight for the first time. Savidovic nearly getting into the back of him.
They're all checking up a bit further back. So there's now Fowler Tech car out. That's Russell Adler out there as well. A few others just recovering as well. So just looks like a huge traffic jam going through there. We'll take a look at that back up in a few minutes. Looks like we've got quite a few drivers out. Peter Van Gaal, I think Richard Gore's out, Janowski, Gladler, which we spoke about. So yeah, not a great start.
Yeah, not a good start for that new team, Mainland Racing. They had Peter Van Gaal in problems, so the same for Diego Melro. So not a good start for them either. And a few cars, yeah, starting from the pit lane as well. Through this quick left-right section we go. Shelbach already establishing an early lead. Dan Kraft in third, trying to get past Stelian Chepelevsky, heading through onto the final section of the lap for the first time. Great section of corners here. Savidovic all battled there between Colin Cunniff and Steve Hefford. Steve Hefford driving for Sim Racer. Down the inside goes Colin Cunniff into the penultimate corner. Locking the brakes. Cold tyres there, definitely in these early stages. Of course, sunrise conditions, but Cunniff's able to get the move done and has got past Steve Hefford.
Yeah, that's a great drive in there. So it just goes to show, even that, at the end of this first lap, tyres are still very, very tricky. Although, through that corner, it's just very tough braking zone. Probably one of the hardest braking zones on all of iRacing going into that. So constantly having to feed the brake on while getting the car to turn, never easy.
And Hackerson under pressure from the other Sim Racer car, Alex Smolensky. And Nathaniel Simpson having a look down the inside into the left-hand hairpin at the end of the back straight. And then it's Dan Hunt now going side by side with Alex Everett. Everett in that bright red car into this quick S's section. A lot of S's complex sections here at Barber Motorsports Park. Surely Alex Everett's not going to get it done around the outside. No, he's not. And they settle back into their positions. Let's have a look at the top 10 at the end of lap 1. As Michael Shelbach leads Stelian Chepelevsky by 7/10 of a second. Dan Kraft in third. Jamie Rushworth in fourth. Savidovic in fifth. Colin Cunniff, as we saw there, in sixth place now. Steve Hefford in seventh. Eighth, Ben Hackerson. Ninth, Alex Smolensky. And Nathaniel Simpson rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, Dan Kraft starting to build up a little gap on Chepelevsky as well. So see what sort of lap time he does. He still lost a little bit of time to Shelbach, but definitely looks pretty racy out there. So he's going to try and move forward. Been very, very quick the last few weeks, and will want to make up for that terrible mistake that he made in the Nordschleife when he had that race wrapped up. It was in the bag really, and he had probably a minute to go in the race, not much of the track left, and just boom.
Yeah, it was literally on the approach to the little carousel, and yeah, ended up binning it there. And good move by Dan Kraft down the inside into the hairpin at the end of the back straight to get past Chepelevsky a lap ago. And now, yeah, he's in second position. We'll see what his lap times are like and see if he can get after Michael Shelbach. Chepelevsky now coming under pressure from Jamie Rushworth. Rushworth in the race up with CQR car, the quickest of the team in qualifying, and is the highest place of them in the championship, 14th place. It's not been a good start to the championship for those guys after starting off so well at Phillip Island. They ended up not really getting much more points after that. So Rushworth will be eager to get a podium on the podium results on the board. Of course, they will be all important for the showdown later in the season, and he wants to also get a win as well to help himself move up the table mathematically now.
Yeah, just having a look at another little band all out there. Dan Hunt is alongside, I think that was Sutton, was it? Sutton,
Nathaniel Simpson, I think, in the Simpson livery car. And
yeah, it was.
And that's Hunt down the inside into the penultimate corner. Will the race up with CQR car there of Ashley Sutton try and get alongside as well? He will through the short shoot into the final corner. It's going to try and set him up now as we come across the line.
He got a great run. Simpson having to go defensive. So I'm very tight. Oh, he's being squeezed. Just about gets the move done. That's great driving. And yeah, could have easily just run off the outside there. And Simpson puts himself under a fair bit of pressure from Alex Everett just behind him as well.
Wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of contact there heading down the front straight. But yeah, here comes Everett down the back straight towards the hairpin, looking this way and that, and the car behind, the other race up with CQR car, I think that's Michael Hall, yes it is, trying to get involved in the action as well. So the race up with CQR cars slowly working their way through the pack. Jake Blackhall looked like he was in a bit of problems there, heard a bit of contact, and behind them, side by side, Simon Field going at it with David Baker. Baker, who started, where did he start on the grid? He started in 16th, and hasn't advanced his positions too much during this race. No way through there on Simon Field, has to stay in that position for now. See any other advances going on through the pack. Yeah, here comes Wojciech Savidovic on Jamie Rushworth. Battle here for 4th and 5th into the final section of the lap. This long right-hander, almost similar to the Turn 1 section, Shanghai in China. Jamie Rushworth just getting in there. Just misses the apex by a little bit, but maybe he's just trying to set himself up for a good run off of this corner to make sure he keeps the Season 6 champion Wojciech Savidovic behind. Let's have a look at the lap times going on at the front. Dan Kraft, of course, now in second. Last time around, 125.177. Michael Schellbach, 125.4. So a few tenths slower, Schellbach, last time around than Dan Kraft. We're entering the halfway stage of the race, so there's still plenty of time for Kraft to get those laps in and possibly get closer and have a battle with Michael Schellbach in the closing stages.
Just thought I'd have a very quick look at the replay of the start to see what happened a bit further back. I'm actually just looking at Rob Graham here. Hopefully, I think it might have been. Someone was saying it might have been Roy's mistake. Looks like that's too far back. Oh yeah, there's the tail end of it. So cars absolutely everywhere. Let's take another little glance at it one more time. See what it was. It's unfortunate because it looks like a good sort of 2/3 of the grid managed to get through, but yeah, just a couple of cars. Like I said at the start of this start of the broadcast, if there was some sort of an accident and it was always going to end pretty poorly. Oh, it actually got turned. Roy got turned. There's a few separate incidents. Everybody just checking up, so none of Roy's fault whatsoever there, but. Yeah, the aftermath was kind of what I expected. Steve
Hefford is out. Hefford, who was in 7th place, has blown an engine, Alex, in incredible fashion. The car's pluming bucket loads of smoke out the back of that sim racer car, and he's into the pit lane. So disaster for that sim racer car.
Yeah, shame for Steve. Looked like he was having a fairly strong race. It's all gone pear-shaped now. Jake Blackhall, Simon Field, Laura Bond, all having a great little battle out there right now. Looks like we're missing a couple of liveries this week.
Yeah, Jake Blackhall, I think, is assigned to Apex Racing. Is now coming under pressure from Simon Field. Field down the inside. As Jake Blackhall's just blinking a little bit. That might just unsettle Simon Field, but he's managed to get down the inside. We'll see if he's able to hold it going into this right section. It's very quick and very fun to drive if you've got the car set up well. Blackhall's not giving up though. Down the inside he goes, using all the curbs. Simon Field giving him room. Good racing between these two. And he's going to try and get the cut back, and David Baker was nearly there where Simon Field wanted to be. Side by side then through this left-right section, the first of the S's. Whoa, Blackhall all over the curbs. But he's had to concede defeat to Simon Field, it looks like. Simon Field now back in front. Let's see if Blackhall can respond straight away. No, he can't, and just behind those guys, Philip Johansson and Matt Bunn were about to go side by side. So good battles here in the midfield. Of course, these guys will all be battling over possible positions for the reverse grid, which will be coming up at the end of race 1. Let's have a look, draw our attention back to the front. We're on lap 7 now. And Michael Schellbach, 125.9. His lap times are just starting to drop up a little bit. 125.6, 3/10 of a second quicker once again with Dan Kraft. And Stalin Chepolevsky's been pounding in the quick lap times as well, because he's now closed back in on Dan Kraft. These three now all battling for the race lead as we start to enter the closing stages of this race. 2/3 of the race nearly gone here in the opening round of the night.
Yeah, much better season for Stallion. Seems to be thereabouts in pretty much every race. Like our fellow tech team seems to really be working out for him. Him and Schellbach seem to be gelling quite nicely.
Of course, Schellbach was involved in that epic third race at the Nürburgring where they all skated wide at the end of the super long straight. Helped him to get into second place in the standings, but now the battle for the lead is on. Dan Craft's close in immensely on the back of Schellbach this lap. Has a little look to the inside, just moving across the track, but I don't think he really had any intentions of taking the lead there. But when we get to the line, we'll be starting lap 8, and they'll have 3 more laps to go to resolve this battle. Penultimate corner then, we'll see what the lap times are like, of course, when they get back to the line. I'm sure Dan Craft will have been lapping quicker on this lap. Here we go, onto the front straight, open the car up through that left-hander. Over the timing line they go, onto lap 8. Michael Schellbach, what was his lap time? 1:25.7, a bit quicker this time around. 1:25.6 for Dan Craft, 1/10 of a second quicker. And Stalin Chepelevsky 1:25.6 as well. Jamie Rushworth 1:25.3. Of course, he's not involved in that battle, so he's been able to set some clear laps on his own. And he too could be about to join this battle for the lead. Same for Wojciech Savidovic, 1:25.4 for him. It was all starting to get drawn back together. They were starting to get a bit stretched out during the first half of the race. Now they're all coming back together again.
Just having a very quick look a little bit further back for a second. I thought for a moment Sutton was going to make a move on Alexander Smolensky. Still Maydew coming out of the hairpin. Got a good run. Is he going to have enough to get by in this chicane? It's not the easiest of overtaking positions. He has a little look. Jinks to the right. Checks back in. Thinks better of it. And just carries on as he was. Simon Field right behind Laura Bond as well in the same sort of area of the track. And we'll switch our attention back to the front because that is really starting to heat up now.
Get to line, there'll be 2 laps to go in this race. It is Alphalatech leading with Michael Schellbach, then Friction Racing in second, Alphalatech in third, Stalin Chepelevsky. Chepelevsky, who was on the front row, of course, for the start of the race, just lost out due to Dan Craft getting down the inside into that hairpin at the end of the back straight. Chepelevsky sitting 4th in the standings, as Alex was saying. A good season for Stalin so far. It took him till the end of last season to get a win. And he's already got one on the board already. So good start for Cheppy. Let's see if he can take second place away. Dan Craft trying to get back onto the rear of Michael Schellbach. 1:25.8 for Schellbach last time around. 1:26.0 for Dan Craft. So didn't have a good lap time there. Stalin Chepelevsky 1:26.1. 1:25.6 for Jamie Rushworth. If he's been tyre saving during this race, he's been doing a brilliant job of it because he's coming alive in these final stages of the race. And he's right on the back of Chepelevsky now. So let's see what these guys can do. 1.5 laps to go. The Race Up a CQR car now trying desperately to get past the Alphalatech car. Chepelevsky's just got looks like a bit of damage to the front of his car as opposed to his teammate. Wonder if that'll be unsettling the car at all. Rushworth now getting pretty close to him.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think these are quite hardy cars, to be honest, as long as you don't just catch them in the wrong way. So I think he's alright out there. It doesn't seem to be slowing him down. Jamie very, very close off camera for yourself for a moment there, Adam. We saw it on the broadcast, was Dan Hunt making a move on, I think it was Nathaniel Simpson, who's all of a sudden dropped down 3 or 4 places, so issues for him as well. Oh, that was so close from Jamie there. I thought for a minute it was going to be a little bit of contact. Surely he'll get a good run. Wojciech has a little look on the inside. This has got to be the best opportunity Rushworth's had. Maybe down into turn 1, pulls out the slipstream.
Onto the final lap then, has a little look. Just no way through there. So we've got these 2 battles going on then. Craft and Schellbach have broken away from those guys, and they're now going to try and battle it out for the race win. 1:25.8 for Schellbach, 1:25.7 for Craft, 1:26.2, 1:26.1 and 1:26.0 respectively for Chepelevsky, Rushworth and Savidovic. Savidovic looking to the inside then into the hairpin. No way through. Into the back almost, I think he might have just got there. Into the back of Jamie Rushworth, I think, in the hairpin. He's still with him, heading down towards the the right-left-right section, I'm sorry, and Ashley Sutton's out of the race as well. I don't know what happened to the BTCC driver for MG, but something must have gone wrong for him because he is now out of the race. Here we go then into the final half a lap here in round 24 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. What can Dan Craft do with Michael Schellbach? Schellbach, who's led every single lap, started on the pole, second in the championship. About 70 or so points behind Wojciech Savidovic. Can he hold on and take the win here? Here we go, final few corners. Look at Craft using all the curb there and more, almost nearly running wide onto the grass. And now for the final 2 corners. Schellbach looks like he's got it in hand, maybe. Into the final corner. I don't think Kraft's going to get it done. As a little look down the inside, just not close enough. And round 24 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship will go to Dan Kraft. He takes the victory. Second for Shellback, sorry, yeah, and second for Dan Kraft, third for Jamie Rushworth, it looks like. Third, sorry, for Chepelevsky, fourth for Jamie Rushworth, and fifth for Wojciech Savidovic.
Yeah, Colin kind of come across in sixth as well. He was pretty close to that group in the end. Smolinski holds on to seventh. And then we've got Dan Hunt in eighth, followed by Michael Hall. And, I think Alex Everett there in 10th place as well.
Good job from Everett there to get 10th place. Racer in the Kia Club Series. Good job getting the top 10 there. Simon Field fought back from 20th to 11th. David Baker managed to leap a few positions from 16th to 12th. Andrew Woodhouse started in 47th on the grid. I think he ended up finishing in 37th. So a gain of 10 positions. Finished one lap down as well. So I don't know if he had to make a visit to the pits for some reason. But yeah, great job from Shellback. Ended up taking the victory. We'll run you through the finishing order then from race 24 of the championship, round 1 of the evening. Shellback takes the win then by 0.6 of a second over Dan Kraft. Stadion Chepelevsky finished third in the end. Fourth for Jamie Rushworth. Was coming on strong late on in the race there. Nearly took a podium. Savidovic in fifth. Colin Cunniff in sixth. Seventh, Alex Smolinski. Eighth, Dan Hunt. Ninth for Michael Hall. And Alex Everett, as Alex was saying there, in 10th. Simon Field in 11th. David Baker 12th. 13th for Laura Bond. Started 13th, finished 13th. Strong result for her in the Pro-Am Championship. 14th for Matt Bunn. 15th for Jake Blackhall. 16th for Nathaniel Simpson. Dropped back a few positions in the closing stages. Started 9th on the grid. Paul Smith finished in 17th. 18th for Ross Balfour. 19th for Philip Johansson. And Kip Stevens in 20th. 21st for Ben Hackerson. Started 8th on the grid. Something must have gone wrong for him in the last few laps. 22nd for Cesare Rizzo. 23rd, Andrew Brown. 24th, Scott Malcolm. 25th, Mark Johnston. 26th, Rob Graham. 27th for Rob Fagg. 28th for Nick McCarron. 29th, Jay Wright from 45th on the grid. And then in 30th, it was Steve Richardson. 31st, Roy Verke. 32nd, Stuart Atkinson. 33rd for John Roberts. 34th, Julian Janovsky. 35th for Richard Gore. Not a good start to the evening for Richard. And then 36th, one lap down, Pete Newman. Andrew Woodhouse also one lap down. If we do get a full reverse grid, Andrew Woodhouse will be on pole position, so I'm sure I'll be hoping on that. Ashley Sutton in 38th. I mean, he had connection issues, it looked like. 39th, Peter Van Gaal. Didn't have a good start at all. Steve Hefford in 40th. 41st, Lee Berridge. 42nd, Craig Evans. 43rd, Diego Melro. Also had problems down in turn 1 at the start of the race. 44th, Nathan Davis. And then 45th, 46th, and 47th in the end were Liam Atkins, Russell Layla, and Jörg Dankert. Good start to the... Yeah, just to echo that, really great start, and that race really zipped through. Just looked up at the lap counter, all of a sudden we were 4 laps to go, so yeah, I think the whole evening's going to go that way. No room for us to rest anyway. Yeah, and if that's the first race of the evening, I'm sure we're going to have 3 more great races, of course. Stay with us here on Apex Racing TV. We will have 3 more races after this, so don't go anywhere. We'll be doing the reverse grid right now for the second race of the evening, round 25 of the championship. If you're new to the championship, we do a Wheel of Fortune. Cars 16 down to 26 and a full option. But I think we now have 2 full spaces on the reverse grid, so I think we might have removed one of those as well. So yeah, 2 full options, which means all the cars that got points, and that means cars that finish 1 lap down will be eligible for the reverse grid. Let's run you through the cars eligible then. They are Nathaniel Simpson, Paul Smith, Ross Balfour, Philip Johansson, Kip Stevens, Ben Hackerson, Cesare Rizzo, Andrew Brown, Mark Johnston, Robert Graham, and if we do have a full, that will put Andrew Woodhouse onto the pole position. Over to you, Alex, then. Who's going to be on pole for the second race of the evening?
Here we go then, first one for the night. Who will it be? Oh, let's wait and see. It's not going to be full, you can just tell. Oh, it's 23rd again. This is almost exactly the same as what it was last week on the first spin there, so yeah, 23rd. Reasonable, but not the full we wanted.
Yeah, reasonable size. I'm sure Andrew Woodhouse will be devastated. Andrew Brown is on pole position for the second race of the evening. Cesare Rizzo second. Ben Hackerson third. Will be able to make up for that dropped down the order in the final stages of the race. Kip Stevens in 4th and Philip Johansson in 5th. And I think Andrew Woodhouse will be hurting. He'll be starting now in 37th place. Could have been on the pole, but it was a reasonable race for him. He was running, I think, higher up inside the top in the 30s, but seemed to have a problem towards the end. I wonder what happened, but no doubt we'll hear from him hopefully at the end of the race. So then, we'll step aside for just a few moments. 3 more races to go in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship this evening, and in just a few moments we'll be back and getting ready for round 25 of the championship. We'll see you in a few minutes.
I'm Eric Hudek. I'm an engineer at iRacing. I put together vehicle models. Started earlier in the year with a partnership with Mazda and Long Road Racing Engineering, where they supplied us with access to the car data, access to their drivers to allow us to put together really high-level vehicle model, and it's turned out really well so far in the development stages.
These new MX-5s are incredible. Between the BF Goodrich tire and then all the suspension engineering that Long Road Racing and that Mazda has done, I've been very fortunate to be one of the lead development drivers for the new Global MX-5 Cup car. We've done a lot of R&D on not only suspension, but things that will not only improve the safety of the vehicle for racing, but also the longevity of it in a racing environment. A couple fun aspects have been for us, not only on the suspension development side, but the virtual world side with iRacing, actually mirroring some of the same, for instance, damper settings or brake pad changes that we've made for different compounds and such, and then we'll actually mirror that in iRacing. It's incredible to me how similar both when we were driving the car on the test day and then we're on the sim, that we're actually able to make changes in iRacing to the damper valving, and it correlates exactly to our findings on the racetrack.
It was quite interesting. It was sort of the first time in iRacing where we developed a car in the sim along with the manufacturer and a race team. Generally speaking, a team or a manufacturer will send us a data dump of information covering everything from tires to aero if the car is set up that way, all the mechanical bits. The big difference is those cars are generally already in production or already racing, and this go around it was essentially from scratch. When Long Road Racing received their cars, we started getting our first bits of data, and as they got more data, we got more data, and we were able to go back and forth in the sim and compare with how the car performs on the racetrack.
Me and my friends in this place gonna party.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV for race 25 of the British iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. We had a good race 1, 4-car battle for the lead, and now we're getting ready for race 2. Practice sessions just about done. We're getting down to the grid for the start of race 2 of the evening. 23 cars were reversed for the second race of the night, and that puts Andrew Brown onto pole position. Cesare Rizzo in second, Ben Hackerson third, fourth Kip Stevens, fifth Ross Balfour, fifth is Philip Johansson, easy for me to say, sixth Philip Balfour, seventh Paul Smith, eighth Nathaniel Simpson, ninth Jake Blackhall, is 10th is Matt Bunn, 11th Laura Bonds, 12th David Baker, 13th Simon Field, 14th Alex Everett, 15th Michael Hall, 16th Dan Hunt, 17th Alex Malensky, 18th it is Colin Cunniff, 19th Wojciech Savidovic, and 20th Jamie Rushworth, 21st Daniel Chepelewski, 22nd Dan Crafts, 23rd our race 1 winner Michael Scharbach, 24th Scott Malcolm, 25th Mark Johnston, 26th Rob Graham, 27th Rob Fagg, 28th Nick McCarron, 29th Jay Wright, and rounding out the top 30 is Steve Richardson. Alex Simpson, quickly, who are you hedging your bets for in this race? It's probably difficult to pick.
I think it's almost impossible to pick. These reverse grids, very, very tricky. Who knows?
Great point to end, and here we go then. We're underway for race 25. Brown gets away well, cuts across straight away to fend off Ben Hackerson and Cesare Rizzo. Rizzo almost out of control getting into turn 1. Everyone now trying to filter through. Are we going to have any shenanigans like we had at the start of race 1? There's a Shellback. I mean, there's an Alphalatech car off. It's Dan Hunt in the Alphalatech car. There might be another car off as well, actually.
Janowski looks like he's around and
on his roof.
Yeah, who else is there? We'll get that back in a replay a bit later on. See what happened there.
In towards the hairpin end for the first time at the end of the back straight. Cars going through wide in some places. Who's continuing to lead? It is still Andrew Brown, so good stuff from him. Ben Hackerson now up into second, ahead of Cesare Rizzo. And then side by side there, the Friction Racing car. Kip Stevens trying to get past Balfour, nearly running into the back of him. Oh. And there's more contact.
Yes, I think Savidovic just about got through, but major going on through the chicane for the first time. Just not enough room.
Colin Cunniff off. I heard a bit more sliding. There's a car off there. I think that might be Alex Everett. Jake Blackhall also going slowly.
Nick McCarron massively out of shape. Jake Blackhall as well. Looks like he's got some sort of slowdown.
Yeah, he was going very slowly and it looked like it wasn't clearing for him, so he's lost a whole load of positions now, trying to hold off the rest of them, the likes of Mark Johnston, Rob Fagg and Ash Sutton as well. Sutton, who was starting behind Andrew Woodhouse, our commentary colleague. Has he managed to survive? He has, going side by side with John Roberts. More contact I hear, don't know who that was. As they come across the line to complete lap 1. Battle going underway between Jamie Rushworth and Simon Field going into turns 1 and 2. These two were near each other in the start of race 1. It's Dan Crafton. No, it is Simon Field and Jamie Rushworth. Dan Crafts just escapes up the road.
Balfour just moved up into third place as well. Brown having to defend the inside. Hackerson having a look around the outside of the hairpin. Can't make it work. He is alongside though. He might just be able to get a run going into the chicane. I think he's going to have to settle it behind. It's going to be very risky to pull a move from there. Brown gives him a little bit of room. He could have really chopped across him there, but decides better off it. So, yeah, they're pretty much as they were.
Few more sounds of contact, but looks like everyone else has survived. Yeah, so Brown leads lap 1, Hackerson second, third Balfour, fourth Rizzo, fifth Kip Stevens, sixth Johansson, seventh Simpson, eighth Smith, ninth Baker. Rounding out the top 10, it is Matthew Bunn. See what Hackerson can do then into the closing stages of this second lap of the race. 10-lap race once again here at Barber. And Ross Balfour already going for it. Great race meeting so far for Friction Racing. They've always had a car inside the top 3. In race 1 it was Dan Kraft, and now in race 2 it's Ross Balfour. And Balfour's been having a great season so far, Alex. He's been right up there.
Yeah, really has been one of the standout rookies of the season so far, and I think doesn't look like he's going to slow up or anything like that. So yeah, great addition to there. And Hackerson again just sticking his nose in. We forget about Hackerson as well. We've seen him in this Kia for such a long time in different series, but it is his first season as well. So another driver who's having a great rookie season.
Going 3 wide there, down into the hairpin. Balfour's trying to make it 3 wide, and now he's going to try and go down the inside of Hackerson, who I think locks the rears, under braking, and that's going to allow Balfour to get down the inside, which will be the outside for the chicane. So it's not over for Hackerson, but Hackerson has to slot behind Balfour. So Balfour now up into second position, and Andrew Brown runs wide over the grass, over the curbs, just as able to hold on ahead of Balfour, but that was just a small mistake, and now the Friction Racing car is right on the back of him. And look, the cars behind, they're not breaking away from them either. Rizzo's there. And now Simpson trying to hold off. Who's that? That's Johansson and Stevens.
Brown wide again. Was a little worried for a moment. I just thought it was going to slow him down, but it didn't at all. And yeah, Balfour looking very racy. Hackerson goes a little bit wide. Hackerson will be kicking himself from that mistake, really. He was on the aggressive, going for an overtake really into the hairpin. He ended up losing a place, so yeah, Balfour just used his head and followed Andrew Brown around the inside and picked up that place rather beautifully, and now he's got a chance to potentially have a move. Brown perhaps didn't feel the need to go quite as defensive as he has done the last couple of laps, but through the first and second turn, Balfour just edging closer again. Andrew Brown's been moving over to the inside down the pit straight just to stop the slipstream of Ross Balfour if there is any. Oh, I hear a sound of contact. I don't know who's blown an engine or might have been involved in contact, but either way, down to the hairpin. Balfour on the outside of Brown. Brown just holds on, and Hackerson might be about to join in as well. In fact, Hackerson might be about to get alongside. He doesn't. Heading down towards the chicane then. Yeah, Hackerson almost did.
Oh, he's off again.
That's very wide for Brown, and that will be a slowdown penalty, so he'll rejoin around the outside, but he will get held up. I'm positive of it. There he is. Starts to ease it back, trying to limit the places that he loses. Oh, side by side through the fast chicane there. Not easy to done. That's the penalty he served, and yeah, pretty well done there. He only lost the 2 spots. There's some great battles going on out there as well. Stelian Chapalevsky right behind Laura Bond. And they've got Dan Kraft and Rushworth around them as well. Just a bit further up as well, you've got Nathaniel Simpson with Paul Smith just behind him. And tucked up behind them, you've got Matt Bunn and Michael Hall. Dave Baker's just ahead as well. So, yeah, battles just everywhere at the moment. And who's that running wide? That looks like... Well, Richard Gore's out, I think. I'm just seeing him drop down the timing order. He's into the pit lane, so issues for Gore. Not a good week for him. That's 2 races now. He's had problems.
Yeah, not good at all for Richard Gore. Colin Cunniff also in the pits as well. He had problems down at the start of the race. Kip Stevens now trying to get past Cesaro Rizzo. He's getting close to him. Is the Sim Racer driver. Philip Johansson also trying to get past as well in that engine all direct livery Kia Optima. Then it's David Baker. Baker, good to see him up in 7th position. Starts at 12th. And then it's Simpson, as Alex was saying, then Paul Smith. And Johansson now trying to get past Stevens. Has a little look to the inside into the chicane.
Rushworth and Everett. Sorry, Adam, just as it flips up on screen. Jamie having a look into the triple corner there, the chicane. Oh, they're bumping and bashing around there, but Rushworth is through. Everett lost another place to Simon Field, who was just waiting for that to unfold in front of him.
So Rushworth through, ahead of Field. Oh, they're all off. Well, Rushworth's off. He's going to come back on. Thank goodness for the tarmac runoff area there on the exit. I hear more contact, possibly in front of us. I don't know. But into the chicane. Yeah, there's a car off. And it's Andrew Brown. So Brown, who was in 3rd position. Looks like he's sustained just a little bit of damage, but that's definitely cut his chances of taking a podium short.
Ash Sutton trying to move up as well. Just he's in that area where the all the drivers are fairly quick and well versed in defensive and aggressive driving themselves. So he's not finding it so easy.
Just a reminder that there's 0.3 of a second between Balfour and Hackison at the front of this pack, but look at all these battles. Here comes David Baker then on Philip Johansson. Johansson defending the inside line in the engine all direct car. David Baker for race up with CQR, trying to go around the outside into the hairpin. Good on the brakes. Johansson might just try and force him wide where there isn't as much grip, and Savidovic might try and get involved as well. Baker and Savidovic finished 3rd and 4th in last season's Pro Series respectively, and now Baker looking down the inside of Johansson. He's got the inside line. They might have hit each other. Whoa, They do now. And off goes Johansson. Baker's going to come back on, and that's a big whack for Johansson. And poor Baker, he sustained a bit of damage there.
Yeah, tough one to call. I mean, from a pure point of view, you know, Baker had the line going in there, and Johansson tries to hold it around the outside. So, yeah, it's always a problem. Baker looks like he's got some big-time damage as well, so that's cost him big time. So, I think he had every right to put his nose up the inside there. That's 3 cars just ahead of him as well. That's Chepalewski, Rushworth and Bunn. Oh, just wasn't sure quite how that was going to pan out. Could have gone anyway. Right there. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
A little bit of contact between Jamie and Stellion there. Field just splits the two of them after that, but that's pretty tight through there.
Right outside. Oh, and off goes one of the Friction Racing cars, and into the air goes one of the Automech cars as well. Which one was it?
Field is just flying as well. Oh, everything. Well, what can you say about that? Oh, and they're still not slowing down, coming through as well. And you've got cars reversing onto the track. Don't do that.
Oh dear.
Oh, yeah, you don't reverse onto the racing line.
I think Stefan Hugo Bathurst is a clear example of that. So not good for Simon Field. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that he's going to replicate his good result from race 1. Side by side then between Matt Bunn and Michael Scharbach, our race 1 winner, heading down towards the triple. Scharbach's gained a whole load of positions as a result of that carnage down the front straight, as is Chepalewski, I think. So good results could be on for them in race 2. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, what's happening? It's still Ross Balfour versus Hackison. And Balfour's 0.2 of a second slower last time around, but he still has just about a few car lengths in check over Ben Hackison. Savidovic in 3rd is now ahead of Rizzo. And then it's Stevens, Nathaniel Simpson, and then Paul Smith. So Paul Smith doing a great job. I think he might be even leading the Pro-Am Championship, the Pro-Am drivers there. Coming across the line, we're going to be starting lap 8. So 3 more laps to go, including the one that they're on. Andrew Brown also looks like he's back in the pits, actually. So not a good race for him. Started on the pole, picked up that slowdown penalty, and then crashed at the same spot where Andrew Woodhouse crashed last season.
Yeah, it's all pretty close still. Kip Stevens on still on Rizzo, I think, going there. Wojciech's managed to get past the pair of them as well, but he's too far back, I think, to even to try and make a challenge on Ross. What happened?
Simpson
checking up all through. Yeah, that was Nathaniel Simpson, wasn't it? Paul Smith and Kip all involved in that.
And here comes the Michael Hall.
The 3 wide going into the chicane. We saw what happened when they try and go 2 wide through it. Somehow they managed to all get through cleanly. There you go, guys. That's how you drive that corner when you... no, it's not.
Stephen, it was all fine until the exit, and Kip Stevens got hit, and now he's turned around, and dear me, race 2's pretty action-packed here. Look at this pack, heading through the S's for the first time, and it's Kraft, Ash Sutton, who else? Jamie Rushworth, Laura Bond, Nathaniel Simpson, and Michael Hall leading these guys all around. How close this is as we head towards the final few corners to start the final lap. And who's that going slowly? That's Nathaniel Simpson letting all those guys through. I wonder if he's picked up a bit of damage as Simpson. And rounding outside goes Dan Kraft. Kraft, who was 2nd in race 1. Danny inside he goes through the final corner. Ash Sutton also on the move. Sutton started in 38th place, up to 12th as he comes across the line. Trying to get past his... up to 9th, sorry, as the timing page refreshes. Now trying to get past his teammate Rushworth and Laura Bond.
Just 2 laps to go then. Hackison edges a little bit closer. Is he waiting for a move, or is he just trying to hold on to the back of Ross here and see if he's going to make a mistake? Doesn't look like he can get any closer. Usually you see drivers with the have a little bit of pace. They sit there happily in that sort of 0.3 of a second. Maybe he's just waiting. Who knows?
Side by side for fourth and fifth is Paul Smith versus Cesare Rizzo, and Rizzo is able to hold on. But yeah, this battle for lead could be about to get pretty nice in the final lap or so. Lap times last time around between these two, Ross Balfour and Ben Hackison, 1:26.9s for both of them. They're both lapping identical lap times at the moment, and great to see another battle for the lead in this second race. Ross Balfour's just pulled out a little bit of an advantage in those last two corners, though. Alex, he was with him coming out of the triple right, left, right at the bottom end of the circuit.
Rizzo made a mistake. Sorry, Adam, to cut you off. Rizzo made a little mistake, dropped 2 places, and all of a sudden there's a big CQR presence in and around the top 10 at the moment. So Rushworth trying to make a move on Rizzo. Sutton's behind him. Hall just ahead of him as well. So all these drivers looking to get a good result as we go on to the final lap of the race.
Yeah, look at race up with CQR. We've got Michael Hall, we've got Jamie Rushworth trying to get past Cesare Rizzo. We've got Ash Sutton as well, and then so a lot of race ups with CQR cars present inside the top 10. Hackison then.
0.2 of a second, that is pretty close. He goes for a very wide apex, takes too much of the curb on the inside, unsettles the car. He can't quite get on the gas as early as he was hoping to do there. I think he wanted that run going into this triple short chicane here.
He's good through this part of the lap is Ben Hackison. See, he's able to keep with Ross Balfour through the final half a lap then. Michael Shelbach took the race 1 victory for Alfa Tech ahead of a Friction Racing car, and that was Dan Kraft. Now a Friction Racing car is leading race 2. Ross Balfour. Ross Balfour, as Alex was saying, one of the standout rookies of this season's iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. But Ben Hackison, Kia Club Series runner-up in Season 1, now driving for Eclectic Motorsport here in the Pro Series. Is he able to get a win? We're going into the final 2 corners then in race 2, round 25 of the championship. Hackison going for a very late entry into that penultimate corner, but I think Ross Balfour's just got enough of it to hold on.
Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be very, very close. And he has to go very defensive. The line's a bit further down, but we've crossed it, and Balfour does indeed hold on to that victory.
Race 25 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship does go to Ross Balfour. We've got a gaggle.
Carnage across the line, and they're all
off
they
goes.
all cross the line, but
Bond's going backwards. Bond's in reverse. Off is Simpson. Who else? We've got an Alfa Tech car off. That is Shellback. He's come across the line though, don't worry. His position isn't affected. But yeah, carnage at the end. See, as everyone else coming across the line, we've got a few cars at the back here. Peter Van Gool, Roy Ververke, Jörg Danker, they're all coming across the line as well. Some of those cars involved in that big shunt that we had down the front straight halfway through the race. But yeah, fantastic battle once again at the front, Alex. Ross Balfour taking a brilliant win. Started 6th on the grid, worked his way through to win.
Yeah, great drive from him. I tell you what, Laura did that finish in style. So she got spun around, but she made sure she carried on going straight but backwards till she got across the line, just to try and maximise her finishing position there. Could have been another few places lost. So yeah, well done to her for there. It looked mighty impressive.
Straight into reverse across the line. Brilliant job there from Laura Bond. Let's run you through the finishing order then from race 25. The British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Ross Balfour takes the win then, just under 0.2 of a second in it between him and Ben Hackison. Wojciech Savidovic in 3rd, 2.5 seconds back. Paul Smith in 4th, top Pro-Am driver, fantastic job from him. Michael Hall in 5th, a race up with CQR. In fact, we've got 3 race up with CQR cars in a row. We've got Hall in 5th, Rushworth in 6th, and Ashley Sutton in 7th. Cesare Rizzo in 8th, did put up a resolute defence, but in the end he just dropped a few positions towards the end. Michael Shelbach, our race 1 winner, started 23rd, finished 9th. Laura Bond rounding out the top 10 there, coming across the line in style, as Alex was saying. 11th, Nathaniel Simpson. 12th, Kip Stevens. Excuse me, Matt Bunn in 13th. Chapelewski in 14th. Nick McKerran 15th. Andrew Woodhouse 37th to 16th. I'm sure I'll be happy with that, and it puts him in the draw for the reverse grid. 17th for Rob Fagg, 18th Jay Wright, 19th Alex Malensky, and 20th for Steve Everett. 21st Dan Hunt, which was good considering he was off at the start of the race. Jake Blackhall 22nd, never recovered from that slowdown penalty that he had at the start of the race. Scott Malcolm 23rd, John Roberts 24th, Steve Richardson 25th, Stuart Atkinson in 26th place, Peter Van Gool 27th, Mark Johnston 28th, Roy Ververke in 29th, and 30th Jörg Dankert, 31st for Pete Newman, and then the car's one lap down or more. Dan Kraft in 32nd, 33rd for Alex Everett, who will be the last car if we do get a full reverse grid, and then the cars that weren't classified. Liam Atkins 34th, David Baker, who was up inside the top 10, he finished 2 laps down, getting 0 points again. Robert Graham 36th, 37th Simon Field, who definitely went for a ride down the front straight earlier on in the race. Simon Field then in 37th, yep, 38th Russell Laidler, 39th Philip Johansson, 40th Andrew Brown, the pole sitter, 41st Nathan Davis, 42nd Craig Evans, 33rd Diego Melro, 44th Richard Gore, not a good race meeting for him, 45th Colin Cunniff, 46th for Lee Berridge, and Julian Janowski I think had problems right from the start. Yes, he was on his roof out of turn 1. Right then, time for the reverse grid then, Alex, for the third race of the evening, round 26 of the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. 16 down to 26, or a fall, or 2 falls in fact. Andrew Woodhouse then, Rob Fagg, Jay Wright, Alex Malensky, Steve Hefford, Dan Hunt, Jake Blackhall, Scott Malcolm, John Roberts, Steve Richardson, Stuart Atkinson, or if we have a fall, it will be Alex Everett, who will be reversed onto pole position for the third race of the evening. Over to you, Alex.
Here we go then. Second time. 23rd we had last. Where's this one going to end up? Oh, this could be close. I don't think it's going to hit it. Oh, come on. 20th place it is. So close.
So close to a fall.
It needed a hair. That was all it needed.
A small, light breeze probably
Yeah,
sent
exactly.
it.
Just blow on it, you know.
Well, 20 cars reversed then, and that'll put Steve Hefford onto pole position for the second race of the evening. Blew an engine in race 1, had to fight his way back from 40th. So a reverse grid pole for the third race is probably a good reward for him. Second on the grid will be Alex Malensky, Jay Wright in 3rd, Rob Fagg in 4th, and Andrew Woodhouse in 5th. The man from Leeds in the UK. We're in Leeds in America. Let's see if we can get a top 5 finish in the third race. Right then, I think we'll step aside then for a few minutes here on Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV. Stay with us. We've still got 2 more races to go. What's going to happen in the third race of the evening? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm Eric Hudek. I'm an engineer at iRacing. I put together vehicle models. Started earlier in the year with a partnership with Mazda and Long Road Racing Engineering, where they supplied us with access to the car data, access to their drivers to allow us to put together really high-level vehicle model, and it's turned out really well so far in the development stages.
These new MX-5s are incredible. Between the BF Goodrich tire and then all the suspension engineering that Long Road Racing and that Mazda has done, I've been very fortunate to be one of the lead development drivers for the new Global MX-5 Cup car. We've done a lot of R&D on not only suspension, but things that will not only improve the safety of the vehicle for racing, but also the longevity of it in a racing environment. A couple fun aspects have been for us, not only on the suspension development side, but the virtual world side with iRacing, actually mirroring some of the same, for instance, damper settings or brake pad changes that we've made for different compounds and such, and then we'll actually mirror that in iRacing. It's incredible to me how similar both when we're driving the car on the test day and then we're on the sim, that we're actually able to make changes in iRacing to the damper valving, and it correlates exactly to our findings on the racetrack.
It was quite interesting. It was sort of the first time in iRacing where we developed a car in the sim along with the manufacturer and a race team. Generally speaking, a team or a manufacturer will send us a data dump of information covering everything from tires to aero if the car is set up that way, all the mechanical bits. The big difference is those cars are generally already in production or already racing, and this go around it was essentially from scratch. When Long Road Racing received their cars, we started getting our first bits of data, and as they got more data, we got more data, and we were able to go back and forth in the sim and compare with how the car performs on the racetrack.
Me and my friends in this place gonna party.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV. This is race 26 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Two brilliant races tonight, two brilliant battles for the race lead as well. And with 20 cars reversed, it'll be Steve Hefford, the man who blew an engine in race 1, on the pole for race 3. Alex Simpson, iRacing World Championship driver, back with me as always. And Alex, yeah, we were talking to Andrew Woodhouse during the break. He's going to be up inside the top 5 for race 3. I think we've got another great race in our hands.
Yeah, I think this will be an excellent race. This is, I think, the third and fourth one. They always seem to be a little bit more spicy, and the grid's really mixed up. And just we might see a little bit more rubbing, but it's always a fun, enjoyable race, no doubt. Just as the guys take to the grid. If you're new to the series, haven't seen what this is all about, head on over to BritishSimRacers.com. You can join the series there and jump on Mumble, jump on Facebook group, and get involved. If you have no idea what we are actually using here, this is iRacing.com. You can sign up to a membership by heading over to their website, iRacing.com, no doubt. Use the promotion code PRBSRTC and get yourself 3 months for the price of one. Also, if you're in the market for a racing rig, don't forget to check out jclsimracing.com/EN for your racing rigs, and check the description of the video as well. There's a nice little promotion code for €30 off any of their products.
And you don't have to have the most powerful PC in the world. You can have something that we saw, that me and Andrew saw, that Alex has down at Silverstone the other week. Or you can have or just some of the basic computer and a basic wheel and pedal set, and possibly even a controller. However, we do recommend getting a wheel and a pedal set. So then, Steve Hefford on the pole, and Smolensky second, Jay Wright third, Rob Fagg fourth, Woodhouse fifth, McCarron sixth, Cheppy seventh, Matt Bunn in eighth, Kip Stevens ninth, and Nathaniel Simpson in 10th. Probably don't have time to take you through the 40 plus grid. Here we go then. Race 26 is underway now.
We can count.
Dear me, and away goes Hefford. He leads into the first corner. Is he going to be able to hold on to it? He's got his teammate Smolensky fighting him. And he's loose there, going through turn 1. And down the inside goes Alex Smolensky. So Smolensky takes the lead straight away. Hefford in second. Third is now Rob Fagg. Fagg now going for second. Woodhouse on the inside of the Engine All's direct car of Jay Wright, heading up the hill towards the hairpin for the first time. Down the back straight, and one of the Apex cars trying to get in the mix as well, and hits the back of Jay Wright and almost sends him into Andrew Woodhouse. Woodhouse has to take evasive action and gets slowed down as a result. So Nick McCarron it was, and he's now up inside the top 5 and down towards the chicane, the right, left, right. The triple, I think they call it on the circuit map. Through the corner we go. Off is McCarron. McCarron just able to save the car. Who's the Alpha-Tech car getting through? That's Stelian Chepelevsky. Cheppy, who started 7th on the grid, already up to 4th place, and it's a slowdown for McCarron, and he's already in a whole load of problems.
Oh, he's got a lot of damage on that car as well. Everybody else made it through the grid. Only Philip Johansson seems to have some sort of problems out there right now. Drivers are just you can see the back end just kicking out through that fast. Oh no, I spoke too soon. Big crash in the fast S's.
Oh.
Everybody scrambling to avoid each other. McCarron caught in that again, but he wasn't the cause. There was lots going on elsewhere. So I think that's going to have took sort of 5-6 drivers out there. Very messy.
Stuart Atkinson involved, one of the red cars. I think that was Alex Everett. And I think was it the Eclectic Motorsport cars getting together? I think it might have been, actually, yeah. It was Stuart Atkinson and who was his teammate? John Roberts. Deary me, and yeah.
See if I can get a replay of that.
Look at it back, yeah. While Alex gets that back up on screen, at the end of the first lap, Alex Smolensky leads Hefford, Fagg in 3rd, Chepelevsky in 4th, Andrew Woodhouse 5th, 6th Matt Bunn, 7th Jay Wright, 8th Kip Stevens, 9th Ashley Sutton. Running out the top 10 it is Michael Shellback.
It's just a lot of drivers losing it. But you're right, exactly that. It was the 2 Eclectic cars on the outside of the track got together and then just ricocheted in. So, you know what, I think there was about 4 or 5 separate little incidents there. Just drivers just out of control, struggling, and yeah, that just all barreled out of control after that. So, yeah, crazy start to this one.
With a big crash there. We saw one down the front straight in race 2, and we saw one there in the S's in race 3. So, Stallion Chepelevsky finished in 3rd in race 1. Now trying to get 3rd in race 3 and hits the back of Rob Fagg and gives him a little bit of a helpful push almost out of the final corner as we come across the start straight to start lap 3. And then in 4th, a bit further back now, it is Ash Sutton trying to get past Andrew Woodhouse and Matt Bunn. Bunn down the inside of Woodhouse into turn 1. The battle for 5th is on here. Into turn 2. The race up with CQR cars now trying to get past the CQR Academy car. And Sutton has done so. So Sutton up into 6th place. Woodhouse still trying to hold on as much as he can to 5th place. How's he going to fight Ashley Sutton? He's going to cover the inside line, is he? Oh, Sutton's trying to go down the inside, trying to force a gap there. Woodhouse might have just been a bit too late on the brakes perhaps, and I think he is, because here comes Sutton and Woodhouse has to slot behind. So Sutton in half a lap has gained 2 places. He's gone from 7th to 5th.
Yeah, good driving from Sutton there. Was able to push Woodhouse to take a very, very tight right in there, and still managed to get his braking right. So almost nailed it for Woodhouse. Also lost a place to Matt Bunn now as well. So coming under a fair bit of pressure at the moment. Next up, we got Shellback right behind him as well. So this pressure is going to be a little bit relentless for a while. You got Jay Wright and Svidovic has just got past him as well, as we can see as we're looking back from the Apex car there.
2 by 2 then through the corner towards the second to last corner then. Svidovic down the inside of Jay Wright, and that is a done deal there. So Svidovic gaining more positions, and Woodhouse there just losing 2 on that lap.
Cheppy having a move on Rob Fagg down into turn 1. Got a great run there side by side through that. Rob just runs a little bit wide, dips a tyre into the grass. That's going to hurt him a little bit around the outside for the Alfa Latex car of Stallion Chepelevsky, and that is a great move up and into 3rd place. He's got 2 seconds to catch up to the back of Steve Hefford.
Yeah, fantastic. He started down in turn 1, running side by side with him through those opening few corners, and then get it done on the exit. So Rob Fagg are now off the podium positions. He'll try and get it back, but at the moment it's a sim racer 1-2, and I'm sure they're going to be delighted with that at the moment. Alex Smolensky leading Steve Hefford in 2nd, and then Chepelevsky in 3rd. The lap times last time around, Smolensky 1:27.0, Hefford 1:27.2, Chepelevsky 1:27.2 as well, but we'll see what he's able to set now that he's managed to dispatch Rob Fagg. Then it's Ashley Sutton. Never count out Ashley. I'm sure he'll be possibly near the front when the race comes to an end. So we're only on lap 4, of course. We're not even at the halfway distance yet. Andrew Woodhouse, though, continues to be pressured by Michael Shellback, the race 1 winner. And Svidovic now trying to join in as well. We're coming up to the S's at the top of the hill before heading back down and then round the never-ending right-hander into the second to last corner. Shellback, who won race 1, had a fight back through the field in race 2, and another strong result there. Now trying to get past Woodhouse to get what is going to be 7th position.
Oh, Shellback gets a little tag, which is actually going to give him a better run onto the straight. I don't think he would have got alongside Woodhouse if it weren't for the little tap from Wojciech behind, but it gets him alongside and through does it. Woodhouse still there on the inside, needs a good tight apex here, could possibly hold on to this, get on the power nice and early. He has done. It's tough.
The outside line will definitely have the speed though, and Woodhouse might need to be careful because we're about to go 3 wide. Svidovic, think about that please. Into the hairpin. Shellback down the inside. Svidovic trying to follow him through. Unfortunately for Woodhouse's sake, there is not enough grip around there to try and make it work around the outside, and I think that will be Svidovic through. In fact, is it Andrew Woodhouse still trying to not give up? Down the inside we go, and Svidovic is through. So good battling, good defending from Woodhouse, but that's now Shellback through into 7th, Svidovic through into 8th, and Andrew Woodhouse now down to 9th.
Yeah, great battling there from everyone involved. Let's just take a quick look further back. We haven't seen some of the action. Janowski, Russell Laidler. This is for 30th place. Just ahead of them, we've got Peter Van Gaal closing in on the back of Steve Richardson as well. So a lot of little battles going on out there. Just to zip a bit further forward, you've got Dan Hunt. He's got Jake Blackhall right behind him, and he's only 0.4 of a second behind Dan Craft himself. So another great little battle. That's for 18th, 19th and 20th. Just ahead of them, you've got Ross Balfour, Laura Bond, Nathaniel Simpson, and Balfour closing in on Jay Wright as well. Will he get a move into turn 1? Looks like he's going to. Late on the brakes again. We've seen this move time and time again. The driver on the inside just doesn't seem to be able to defend. Just seeing the Laura Bond closing in, and actually this time I thought for a moment Wright had managed to do it, but in the end Balfour just cuts back on him, and it's Bond now on the attack for Jay Wright. And
Three wide.
Nathaniel Simpson gets through. Laura just gets a little bit out of shape. She's going to lose a couple of places there. And, Dan Craft through as well.
Well, Balfour got tremendous drive out of that hairpin at turn 2 and was just able to shoot past Jay Wright, and right now going at it with Simpson. Simpson just through into the triple, the right chicane, and now behind him it's Paul Smith and then Dan Craft as well, as Alex was saying, then Laura Bond and Dan Hunt. Dan Hunt's been dropping a few positions the last lap or so. He was fighting with Dan Craft a lap ago and now is behind the Spicer Hart livery car of Laura Bond, with Jake Blackall behind him. Have a look further forward. Any other battles going on inside the top 5? We've got Michael Shellback and Wojciech Savidovic. These two might be about to have a battle. Savidovic and Shellback, who've been pretty much kept apart for the first 2 races of the evening. Shellback was out winning race 1, while Savidovic ended up finishing in 4th or 5th place in the end. Now these two are going at it down the front straight onto lap 7. How quick these races are going by at the moment. We're entering into the closing stage of this one now.
Yeah, indeed, just 4 laps to go. Stelian Chepalevsky is actually closing in now, under a second from Steve Hefford. So the 2 cars ahead are going to have wanted to try and keep this 1-2 intact, and it looks like the Alpha Tech team is going to come and try and ruin their fun. 4 laps, can they work together? Hefford's going to have to defend for his teammate. I think it's not going to be easy.
Very short laps here. We're under 90 seconds. And that's why we're flying through all these races tonight. So, Sim Racer 1 and 2. Alphalatech in 3rd, leading the team's championship, of course. Alphalatech have already taken a race victory tonight with Michael Shellback, and I'm sure Stelian Chepalevsky would like to add to that tally with a win in race 3. But Sim Racer, they want to do the same as well. Steve Hefford and Alex Smolensky will both want to get a win for their team to help them up the team's championship as well. We're about to get round to start lap 8, and there'll be 3 laps to go when we get to the line. We'll see what the lap times are like. I tell you what, when we were crossing the line last time around, 1:27.6 for Smolensky, 1:27.3 for Hefford, and 1:27.0 for Stelian Chepalevsky. Let's see what they're like as they come across the line this time. On to lap 8. 1:27.6 for Smolensky, 1:27 for as my screen goes, Steve Hefford. What did Chepalevsky do? That's the more important time. 0.1. So quicker again. Quicker of the top 3. And across the line, less than a second between all 3 of them.
Yeah, this is really starting to heat up now. I think next lap Stelian will be in a position where he can start to really put some pressure on Hefford ahead. Just having a look what else is going on. There's still a lot of battles out there right now. Dan Craft is side by side with Nathaniel Simpson going into the hairpin. Craft trying to go around the outside, can't quite pull it off. He's got a lot of damage on the left hand side of that Friction Racing Kia Optima out there right now, and doesn't seem to be slowing him up much, still making his way through this pack. And I think we've got Scott Malcolm as well, and Nathan Davis as well, also having a little battle.
Scott Malcolm then, the Automech livery car, and Nathan Davis, who I think is a privateer for this race meeting. Pete Newman in Simpson Racing colours as well. Mark Johnston, who had problems in lap 1, I think he was involved in the crash down at the section they're coming up to now. He's continued in 24th place. Slow down though for Simon Field, it looks like. He's now having to serve that and has lost a few positions as well. In fact, Simon Field's a lap down in 43rd place.
2 laps to go then, sorry, and Stelian is right with them. Another 1:27.2 closes that gap by half a second on that lap. So definitely the driver with the pace out there right now. It's all going to be about can Steve Hefford utilise the slipstream of his teammate to be able to defend from this very, very quick Alphalatech car right now.
So we're about to get 1.5 laps to go then. All 3 races tonight, we've had great battles for the lead, and this one is no exception. 3 cars going at it once again here at Barber Motorsports Park in Alabama, USA. Through the triple then, right, left, a right, and then we're going to go into the S's section, which is such a quick part of the racetrack, and then the final section, the never-ending right-hander, the penultimate corner, and then that 90-degree left that will lead onto the front straight. We saw a close finish out of that final corner in race 2, where Ross Balfour nearly lost the lead. Chepelevsky nearly lost control of the car there, putting two wheels into the grass on the exit. When we get to line, there'll be one lap to go. And wide goes Hefford just a little bit.
Yeah, it was wide, and Stillion was trying to line up something to try and get a good run through here, and Hefford has to take a slightly tighter line than normal just to defend that line. All of a sudden, 8/10 away from his teammate. That slipstream effect's going to be nullified somewhat. Runs a little bit wide off of the final corner. Stillion just 0.1 of a second apart as they cross the start-finish line. Darts out to the inside, up the inside, through turn one. Round the second corner, runs a little bit wide, gets forced out wide if anything.
See what he can do on the exit then. We're heading up the hill and in towards the hairpin. He's going to get the straight line speed, but Hefford's going to put up a bit of defence. Oh, that's so close to quarter panel, and it is a little bit of a nudge, and he's going to take it out. He's taken out Smolenski. I don't believe it. And who's in the lead now? Guess who? It's Ashley Sutton. Dear me, what's going on there? And Hefford, blimey, Hefford, I think, was cutting across just a bit too much there. I don't know whether I had to look back on it on the replay, but Chepelevsky hits him. He goes flying into Alex Smolenski, and Ashley Sutton's there to pick up the pieces.
Well, what can you say? I mean, that's just
only in the BSRTC.
I'm just gutted for both of them there. So real unfortunate. It was just nothing but hard battle in there, and yeah, just a weird reaction from the car, and yeah, like has been said on the chat. Yeah, boom, wham, bam. You know, it's all. But can't take anything away from Sutton. He's had to make his way up through this field as well, and yeah, done a great job. And here he comes, take the victory. 14th to first, and I don't think he was expecting that at the start of the last lap. Round 26 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship does go to Ashley Sutton. Second for Stalin Chepelevsky. Third for Rob Fagg. Fourth for Matt Bunn. Fifth for Michael Shellback. Sixth in the end was Michael Hall. Seventh in the end, Alex Smolenski, who led a dance out of every single lap and ended up getting taken out by his teammates by a small bit of contact with Stalin Chepelevsky. Jamie Bushworth finished in 8th, Savidovic 9th in the end, and then Steve Hefford rounding out the top 10. Before we run you through the finishing order, Alex, have we already looked back at the replay of Chepelevsky? And we haven't. No, let's take a look back.
Smolenski, yeah. Right then, starting the final lap, lap 10 then.
Let's see if we can go into the roll bar of here, right at the right point. So Stillion having a little look up the inside, he gets out of it, and I tell you what, I think, oh god, do you know? I mean, I can see that. Right, I'm on board now with Stillion. He pulled over, fully expecting to let these guys back through. I don't think he could believe quite what went on there, but then when he realised everybody else was going to come steaming through, he just got on the gas again. But it was just let's go back again. I want to take another look at that, because it just looked like Steve braked tiny little bit earlier than what Stillion was expecting, and he just couldn't react to it quick enough and just absolutely walloped him. I'm afraid the stewards have got to put that on Stillion. At the end of the day, you've got to avoid the car in front of you. It wasn't a brake check. He was obviously on a lot tighter line, and you know, it took the leader out as well. So 1-2 just goes begging for Sim Racers Magazine. The team there, yeah, I'm gutted for both of them there.
I think Chepelevsky was almost expecting car in front to stay on the inside line, but when they both moved back to the racing line, there was just that bit of contact in the rear, and Smolenski had no way of knowing that was going to happen. He was already a second or so in front.
Oh no, nothing he could do, and Hefford was a passenger as well. You know, all he could have literally done was just shouted out to his teammate to watch out on Mumble if they were on there together. That was it. There was no avoiding that. Just, yeah, one of those things.
Well, Smolenski ended up finishing in 7th. Steve Hefford finished in 10th. And yeah, Sim Racer not going to be happy in the slightest.
Want to take us through those final standings?
Yeah. So then, round 26 of the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship finished like this, and Ashley Sutton taking the most unexpected win for Racer with CQR. Now, I'm sure they'll be delighted with that anyway. Stalin Chepelevsky in 2nd, continuing a great night for Alpha Tech. Rob Fagg in 3rd for Eurochip Digital. 4th, Matt Bunn. 5th Michael Shellback, 6th Michael Hall, 7th Alex Smolensky, 8th Jamie Rushworth, 9th Wojciech Savidovic, and 10th Steve Hefford. 11th Andrew Woodhouse, 12th Ross Balfour, 13th Dan Kraft, 14th for Kip Stevens, 15th for Nathaniel Simpson, 16th Paul Smith, 17th Dan Hunt, 8th Jay Wright, 19th for Laura Bond, and then 20th for Jake Blackhall, 21st Nathan Davis, 22nd for Scott Malcolm, 23rd Pete Newman, 24th Mark Johnston, 25th Robert Graham, 26th Richard Gore. So he has actually got a chance of a reverse grid draw for the 4th and final race of the evening. 27th Roy Verke, 28th Colin Cunniff, 29th Lee Berridge, and then 30th for Julian Janowski, 31st Steve Richardson, 32nd David Baker. Only gained a few positions in that third race. Peter Van Gaal, 33rd, 34th Liam Atkins, 35th Ben Hackison, and 36th Diego Melro, 37th Craig Evans, 38th for Jörg Dankert. And then the cars that did not classify, we have Andrew Brown and 39th, Russell Laylor 40th, Simon Field in 41st, John Roberts 42nd, involved in that crash with his teammate on lap 1. 42nd and 42nd John Roberts, 43rd Philip Johansson, 44th Philip Johansson, 45th Cesaro Rizzo, 46th Stuart Atkinson, and right at the back in 47th it is Alex Everett. Well then, time for the reverse grid then for the 4th and final race of the evening, round 27 of the championship. The cars that are eligible for the reverse grid are as follows: Paul Smith, Dan Hunt, Jay Wright, Laura Bond, Jake Blackhall, Nathan Davis, Scott Malcolm, Pete Newman, Mark Johnston, Robert Graham, Richard Gore, or if we have a full, it will be Jörg Dankert down in 38th. So Alex, for the final time then, who's going to be on pole?
Here we go then. Let's do it. Oh, come on, I want a full. I don't think we've had a full since we've had the new wheel that made it more likely to get a full, and we're not going to get a full again. Damn it. We are going to get 22nd though. Yeah, 22nd. It just ticks over right at the last minute there. So we've had some pretty reasonable reverses tonight, actually.
Yeah, we had 23, we had 20, and now we have 22. And it puts Scott Malcolm for Auto Mech onto pole position for the 4th and final race of the evening. Nathan Davis in 2nd, Jake Blackhall 3rd, 4th will be Laura Bond, and Jay Wright in 5th. So another crazy race in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. What will race 4 bring us? Round 27 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. We'll be back here on Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV after the break. Stay with us.
I'm an engineer at iRacing. I put together vehicle models. Started earlier in the year with a partnership with Mazda and Long Road Racing Engineering, where they supplied us with access to the car data, access to their drivers to allow us to put together really high-level vehicle model, and it's turned out really well so far in the development stages.
These new MX-5s are incredible. Between the BF Goodrich tire and then all the suspension engineering that Long Road Racing and that Mazda has done, I've been very fortunate to be one of the lead development drivers for the new Global MX-5 Cup car. We've done a lot of R&D on not only suspension, but things that will not only improve the safety of the vehicle for racing, but also the longevity of it in a racing environment. A couple fun aspects have been for us, not only on the suspension development side, but the virtual world side with iRacing, actually mirroring some of the same, for instance, damper settings or brake pad changes that we've made for different compounds and such, and then we'll actually mirror that in iRacing. It's incredible to me how similar both when we're driving the car on the test day and then we're on the sim, that we're actually able to make changes in iRacing to the damper valving, and it correlates exactly to our findings on the racetrack.
It was quite interesting. It was sort of the first time in iRacing where we developed a car in the sim along with the manufacturer and a race team. Generally speaking, a team or a manufacturer will send us a data dump of information covering everything from tires to aero if the car is set up that way, all the mechanical bits. The big difference is those cars are generally already in production or already racing, And this go around, it was essentially from scratch. When Long Road Racing received their cars, we started getting our first bits of data, and as they got more data, we got more data, and we were able to go back and forth in the sim and compare with how the car performs on the racetrack.
Me and my friends in this place gonna party.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV. This is round 27 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship here at the Barber Motorsports Park, the fourth race and the final race of the evening. Adam Bath here with iRacing World Championship driver Alex Simpson once again. Alex, this Barber Motorsports Park, it does look pretty nice in these sunset conditions, and I'm sure we're going to have another brilliant race. The fourth race always does bring a thriller usually.
Yeah, rattled through the races tonight, and and I think that's just because every one of them's been extremely enjoyable to watch. Like you say, Barber looking absolutely beautiful right now. They really have done a great job with the different lighting conditions out there, and just I think moving forward once the X11 becomes the standard, and I think they can really work just to shine up everything as well, and starting to rival some of the more current titles that have been launched, and let's get some day to night transitions, and we'll be loving it.
Yes, we definitely will. Looking at the championship standings then, going into the final race of the evening, Wojciech Savidovic leads Michael Shelbach by 63 points. Vitaly Chepelevsky now up in third position after a disaster for Simon Field in the last two races. Alex Smolensky in fifth, so close to taking that victory if it wasn't for that contact between Chepelevsky and Steve Hefford. Richard Gore in 6th, Colin Cunniff 7th, 8th Ross Balfour. Colin Cunniff and Ross Balfour are tied on points. Jamie Rushworth in 9th, Ben Hackerson in 10th. Over in the Pro-Am standings, Paul Smith leads for Roy Ververke now in 2nd place by 117 points. McCarron in 3rd, dropping a position. Jay Wright in 4th, Laura Bond in 5th. And finally, over in the team standings, Al Falatek continue to lead Apex Racing by 217 points, Friction Racing in 3rd, Sim Racer 4th, and Simpson Racing in 5th. 22 cars reversed then for the 4th and final race of the evening. We're getting down to the grid very shortly for the final race of the evening. Let's have a look at the starting grid then for the 4th race. Scott Malcolm on pole then. Nathan Davis in 2nd. 3rd, Jake Blackhall. 4th, Laura Bond. 5th, Jay Wright. 6th, Dan Hunt. 7th, Paul Smith. 8th, Nathaniel Simpson. 9th, Kip Stevens. And 10th, Dan Kraft. 11th, Ross Balfour. 12th, Andrew Woodhouse. 13th, Steve Hefford. 14th, Wojciech Savidovic. 15th, Jamie Rushworth. 16th is Alex Smolensky. 7th, Michael Hall. 18th, Michael Shelbach. 19th, Matt Bunn. 20th, Rob Fagg. 21st, Stelian Chepelevsky. 22nd, our race 3 winner, Ashley Sutton. 23rd, Pete Newman. 24th, Mark Johnston. 25th, Robert Graham. 26th, Richard Gore. 27th, Roy Ververke. 28th, Colin Cunniff. 29th, Lee Berridge. Rounding up your 30 cars, it is Julian Chanovsky. Once again, Alex, I can't really call a winner here.
No, I think it's just too difficult in these final races. Oh, let's hope for a good clean start this time though.
Round 27 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship is underway. Scott Malcolm then leading them down into turn 1. But Davis is going to go for it. Round the outside he goes, in fact, and he's taken the lead into turn 2. So fantastic start for Nathan Davis. Second, Scott Malcolm, who's getting a bit sideways, as is Blackhall. Anything going on at the back? It sounds like it, Alex.
Yeah, I was just looking at Nathan and Blackhall, really, like you say, just getting a little bit out of shape. We're on board with Jake as he heads down towards the hairpin for the first time, under braking. Seems to have got...
And a few other cars are off. The Eurochip Digital car around. There's a Friction Racing car, that's Ross Balfour, I think it is. Sutton are trying to gain a few positions there.
Yeah, they all seem to have survived. We've got a couple of people, Stuart Atkins and Garrett there as well. Who else have we got? I think that's it actually, so just a couple.
Ooh, another crash at the back. An Apex car is off, so is an Engine All Direct car. It's in the barriers. I think it might be Nick McCarron. I think it might be. It's Richard Gore.
Nick. Oh, is it? Oh, Richard's down there with Nick. Yeah, just a terrible meeting for those guys today. They'll be glad to be gone from this circuit, I can tell you that. Right, let's see what's going on out front. Scott Malcolm and just lost a little bit of ground, not much. Still in with a chance to perhaps have a little run at Davis. Actually, a great final corner. Surely he's going to have a look. Jake Blackhall returning to the series, of course. he'll definitely be thinking this is his opportunity to go for a race win. But he's got some tough competition behind him. Daniel Hunt right there as well.
Jake Blackhall took a victory in the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship last season. A 1-2-3 it was for Apex Racing. Watkins Glen, another North American venue, so knows how to get it done in this championship. In third place at the moment. Starting lap 2 then. Oh, look at this in the background. Down the inside. Who's that? That's Dan Kraft trying to get past Nathaniel Simpson and Laura Bond. It just didn't work out for him, and now he's under pressure from
three
the
wide further
boys
back
from the
as well. Just, Woodhouse getting himself involved in that one too. Manages to hold on to it as well. It's very, very tight in this pack, around sort of like 18th, 19th place right now. And of course, just to turn our attention back to Jake Blackwell, that wasn't the only time he come across the start-finish line in first place. Of course, he had that one where he was disqualified as well. So, this is ridiculous. Right now, as they go through the fastest, somehow they managed to avoid themselves.
Wow.
We're just focusing on Chepelevsky just for a moment there, but they're still all battling out there right now. Who's that? It's Hall just in front of Stellion there, and just chops his nose off there, going through the second of...
Sorry, Rushworth, who was it? The blue one. I think that's Rushworth just getting into the back of...
it's Jamie.
Yeah.
Actually, it's actually Michael Hall, sorry. It was Michael who just tagged the back of Rob Fagg there.
Just in front of them, Shellback getting down the inside of Woodhouse. These two having a good battle, and rubbing there, forcing Woodhouse out wide, and Woodhouse back down the inside into turn 2. These two battling over 14th place. This battle though continues. Rushworth, Hall, then Fagg, then Balfour, Bunn, and then Chepelevsky. Chepelevsky's going to get a good run on Bunn here down the straight. Let's hope he doesn't do what he did to the Sim Racer car on the last lap in race 3. In front of them, down the inside goes the other Eurochip Digital car there. Rob Fagg, and they're going to be 3 wide. Alex possibly heading down towards the triple. No, they're not, but Michael Hall's trying to make it 2 wide at least.
Yeah, Hall on the inside. Will he get that done? Can't tell. There's some trees in the way. Move! Chop them down. Let's have a look.
It's an iRacing director's nightmare.
Someone's around a bit further back. Way down. Is that Janowski? Yeah, it was. Julian around. Don't know what that was. Just what a random place to be turned. It's sort of just going into the braking zone. Where have we got an absolute clobber from behind?
Quarter panel by Alex Everett. Yeah, Julian Janowski, who's been on his roof tonight, has a huge incident going into the Armco barrier there. And off his CQR Academy cars. I go back to live. Matt Bunn, who was in 20th place.
Dan Croft, Simpson, Bond, Wright, Smith, Sutton, they're all pretty close right now. They managed to get themselves single file going into the or through the last corner, and it just looks like, who was that? Was that Kraft running a little bit wide? Simpson having a little look on the inside, can't quite get the momentum out of the second turn, so settles back into the slipstream. And just ahead, it looks like Blackhall and Malcolm going at it. Blackhall having a look, gets a little tag from behind. That was Laura who got into him, and also that caused a massive chain reaction there. And who was that who ended up with the worst? It was Nathaniel, wasn't it? Yeah, Simpson around in his Simpson car.
Yeah, not good for Nathaniel Simpson. He was having a good run there, but look at this into the chicane. Where do you look? Engine all direct car down the inside of Laura Bond. Paul Smith trying to get involved as well. Steve Hefford there in the Sim Racer car. And so is Alex Smolensky, I think. No, it's Kip Stevens, I think. Yes, it is. Shellback just getting past him. And off goes Smith into the Armco, and that's his race over, surely. Huge incident there. He's able to get the car going, though. I thought it would have blown an engine for sure. In fact, it might have given him some terminal damage because he's now just pulled over again. But yeah, huge crash in the S's. And it's still going on. Sutton has now just got past Steve Hefford. Next on his list, it is Michael Shellback, then Jay Wright, Laura Bond. What's going on at the front as we come across the line? Onto lap 5 now. Nathan Davis continues to lead. Dan Hunt in second. Scott Malcolm third. Dan Craft fourth. Jake Blackhall in fifth. Laura Bond sixth. Jay Wright seventh. Michael Shellback in eighth. Ash Sutton now up into ninth after winning race 3. And then 10th it is Steve Hefford. And off goes Hunt, who was in second place. He overshot his braking point, I think, by quite a bit, Alex, if we get a replay of it. But now he's down to second, third, or fifth place.
I'm going to take a little look because I turned away just for a second. and all of a sudden he's trundling through the kitty litter. You're right, he just missed it, didn't he? And instead of hitting Nathan up the rear there, he decided he would run out wide, loses himself 3 places, rejoins in 5th place. So unfortunate for him, but good driving nonetheless to avoid major contact with the leader.
Yeah, I was almost flinching, in fact, in case he hit him. But yeah, Hunt now down to 5th. Steve Hefford battling away with Jay Wright. They were side by side through the S's. However, they've become line astern again. Oh, and Sutton locking the brakes, as is all the cars in front, and there's contact. It's Jake Blackhall, and that's allowed Malcolm through, I think.
Yeah, it was Malcolm he was side by side with. What it has done is it's allowed Hunt through. So Dan Hunt moves himself up and into 3rd place. Just seems like Jake can't clear Scott right now, and just keeps slipping back. These people just seem to get both of them as they're battling. Maybe this time round the outside for Blackhall. He'll have the inside for the hairpin. Just needs to nail the braking. The downhill braking section, not easy. Does exactly that. Kisses the apex beautifully as well, and that is him up and into 4th place.
Sutton going side by side with Michael Shellback, and possibly trying to get past Law Bond as well. There's 2x2 in the background as well, but here comes Sutton. Close quarter racing here. The owner of CQR, in fact, round the outside into the chicane. And that's Shellback through past Bond, and Sutton will follow him through as well. So that's Shellback past Laura Bond, and in the background 2x2 it continues between Jay Wright and Steve Hefford. Are they going to go side by side through the S's? Just not wide enough for them to do that, and that's going to have hampered Hefford's straight line speed. And now we possibly could go 3 wide here. Jamie Rushworth and Kip Stevens now battling. Stevens down the inside of his teammate Hefford, and now Rushworth trying to get past as well. No way through there, and then the other sim racer car, Alex Smolensky with Michael Hall for company as well, and Stelin Chapalevsky. So great battle here in the midfield.
Yeah, Smolensky, of course, will want a good result after that victory was snatched away from him in the last race in such dramatic fashion. And yeah, not going the best at the moment. His teammates right in front of him, so he needs to clear him pretty quickly.
Have we missed Dan Craft taking the lead? I can't.
We have indeed.
Yeah, let's see what happened to him, because Nathan Davis was leading.
Let me see if I can just jump it back a little bit and catch that.
It's quite a bit of a way back, actually. I think it might have been out of the chicane at the far end of the circuit, the triple right, left, right.
Right, I've gone back just a little bit here. Let's see exactly where this was. So yeah, this was a lap and a half ago, so we are just Kraft's quite a way back at the moment. Was it a mistake from Davis that allowed him through?
Kraft just gets a superior run on the exit, looks like. Gets a brilliant run on the exit of the triple, and that's what allowed him to get the lead. I don't know, it didn't look like a slowdown.
Yeah, it's closed in dramatically actually through the hairpin as well. Much better exit there, so just holding on to his tyres, perhaps a little bit better for Kraft and the Friction Racing Kia Optima. And you're right, great line through, catches all the rest of that time up, and it looked like Davis's car was sort of bouncing a little bit on the exit. He couldn't just get couldn't get the power down, and Kraft's through. Yeah, great driving.
Davis now under pressure from Hunt. Hunt will want that second place back after overshooting the mark at the hairpin. Oh, and he hits Davis, and that's going to allow Blackhall through and take both of the positions away, I think. Oh, Hunt coming back at Davis, possibly. No. Up over the hill and down towards the downhill braking hairpin on the back straight. Blackhall now into second. Will Davis try and lunge back up the inside? He will, and he hits him. Bit of contact there, and that's a bump and run really, because that's Davis through into second, and Hunt now is probably going to get into third place as well. And in the background, look at this, Alphalatech, Shellback versus Sutton. They've both got past Scott Malcolm. These two forging a path through the pack.
Sorry, I think that last move constitutes my smash and grab, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it kind of lined it up and thought, well, I'm not going to go a place down, and just has that straight back. So never really a chance to overtake. So Phil feeling a little bit for Blackhall. He'll perhaps try and get back to these two and have at it.
Oh, and off goes Hunt.
He won't need to worry about it. There goes Dan Hunt.
Tell you what, he's got a hit list here, Nathan Davis, and he's just ticking them off one by one. He hit Blackhall at the hairpin, and now he's just taken out. Oh, Sutton down the inside over Shellback into the penultimate corner. Just going to finish that off, yeah, and Nathan Davis is dispatched with Dan Hunt. Down the front straight we go. Sutton versus Shellback. Shellback putting Sutton right up against the pit wall. On to lap 9, the penultimate lap here. Down the inside goes Sutton. Fantastic. Just hits the inside. And down the inside goes Blackhall on Nathan Davis. Be careful there, Blackhall. You don't know what Davis might do to you. And look at Sutton and Shellback going at it. This is a fantastic battle over the top of the hill. Sutton's vanished and Sutton's gone.
Sutton's been disqualified, so too many incidents. And now down, yeah, that's now that's how you do an overtake into the hairpin from Shellback there. Absolutely perfect on the braking, gets alongside, forces the car wide, and yeah, clean as you would like. So there's a lesson for everybody.
New to the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship, there is an incident limit of 11, and you pick up those incident points by things such as off tracks and hitting cars in front of you and stuff like that. But here comes Shellback then on Nathan Davis. Nathan Davis has already got rid of one Alfa Tech car. Let's see if Shellback can get past him. When we get to line, we'll be starting the last lap. Setting him up brilliantly there, Alex.
Oh, look at that. Absolutely perfect. You're right. He knew exactly what was going to happen there. That was clean as a whistle. Great driving from Shellback there. So he's defended well from Sutton. 2 great overtakes in this one. Won a race already tonight. He's not going to be able to catch up Dan Craft, but that's an exhibition of top quality driving right there.
Of course, he is at the top. Second in the standings. After all, might be top if he continues this form throughout the rest of the season. So Nathan Davis now in 3rd, Jake Blackhall 4th, Scott Malcolm 5th, Laura Bond in 6th. So good result for her in terms of the Pro-Am Championship. And Jamie Rushworth at the moment is 7th, then 8th. Jay Wright battling away with Dan Hunt. Hunt's coming back. That collision with Nathan Davis still hasn't deterred Dan Hunt, and now he's trying to take 8th place away into the hairpin. Round the outside he's going to go in these sunset conditions instead of the grip out there. The marbles don't seem to have played a factor there at all, because he's now side by side with the Engine Oils direct car into the triple, and he might even have cleared. Jay Wright. I think he has.
Yeah, great move as well. What's going on? Nothing really. Towards the front view, they're still separated by half a second. Look at that line of cars in the background there. Let's pay our attention towards that as it's on the last lap. Oh, as they all scream through the far chicane. Switch up to the leader because he's starting to round the penultimate corner. And Kraft got himself to the front and has just walked away with this one. 6 second lead as they cross the line. And what's it going to be when he crosses now? But it's not going to matter what it is. It's only needs to be a little bit. And he wins the 4th and final race of the night in great fashion, does Dan Craft.
Round 27 then goes to Dan Craft, and he had to work for it. Started 10th on the grid, forced his way through, and ended up taking the win. 2nd for Michael Shellback. They're all coming across the line now. A huge gaggle there coming across the line. Great job from all there. Michael Shellback in 2nd. Nathan Davis did get 3rd in the end, and I'm sure if he does another race in the BSR TC, he'll be hit with a few penalties. I'm sure Jake Blackhall in 4th, Scott Malcolm in 5th, Laura Bond in 6th, Jamie Rushworth in 7th, Dan Hunt in the end fought through to 8th. Despite, first of all, missing his braking points at the hairpin they're coming up to now, and getting taken out by Nathan Davis. Jay Wright in 9th, and Steve Hefford rounding out the top 10. Running through the rest of them actually. Alex Smolensky 11th, 12th in the end for Michael Hall, 13th Kip Stevens, 14th Ross Balfour, 15th Pete Newman, 16th David Baker from 36th on the grid, 17th for Stelin Shepelevsky, 18th Robert Graham, 19th for Andrew Woodhouse in the end. Started 12th but ended up finishing 19th. 20th for Andrew Brown, 21st for Craig Evans, 22nd Alex Everett, 23rd for Mark Johnston, 24th Nick McCarron, 25th John Roberts, 26th Wojciech Savidovic, so not a good 4th and final race for him. He started 14th on the grid. 27th for Simon Field, 28th for Diogo Melro, 29th for Nathaniel Simpson, and 30th Cesare Rizzo, 31st Matt Bunn, 32nd Steve Richardson, 33rd Colin Cunniff, 34th Ben Hackerson, and then the cars that weren't classified, Ashley Sutton 35th disqualified, Rob Fagg 3 laps down, 6 laps down were Paul Smith, Lee Berridge and Julian Janowski, and then 10 laps down we have Richard Gore, Roy Ververke, Peter Van Gool, Liam Atkins, Jörg Dankert, Rusty Laidler, not a good race evening for him, and then Stuart Atkinson rounding everyone off in 46th.
Well, 4 great races. Thoroughly enjoyed all of them. Few incidents that people will, I'm sure, no doubt protest, and we'll go through all of the post-race shenanigans and see who gets penalties and whatnot for the next race. There was quite a few that couldn't set times this week in qualifying, so I dare say they'll be the same next week. But still, the battles on the front, I tell you, top notch, all race, all night long.
Yeah, and Barber lended itself brilliantly to overtaking 4 great races. We'll see if the form's continued when we head to an oval next week, and it's Twin Rim Motegi. The next round on the schedule, 4 races there, always brilliant. We saw, if you watched the coverage on Motors TV a few weeks ago in the Winter Series there, I'm sure it's going to carry forward again when we head there next week. Right then, let's see if we have any drivers available for a quick chat. An interview room we do have, of course, our commentary colleague Andrew Woodhouse. However, for the safety of his throat,
we'll just give the guys a minute or two, see if they can come down. Be nice if we could get, say, like, Michael or Dan, come on down. You just won that race.
Oh, while we wait for them, Alex, Twin Ring Motegi, an oval, completely different to Barber, of course, and 4 more great races in prospect. We always see great driving around there.
I think there's just something about that circuit actually works quite well. Everyone's going, an oval and all that sort of stuff. But actually, the first corner is very wide open and, is a challenge on its own because obviously the front wheel drive just constantly wants to understeer. So to get the balance of aggressive on the power and carrying as much speed as you can through the corner is tough. And then the second corner, very, very narrow. So completely contrasting. So it's a bit of a challenge and it does work quite well. And I think every race meeting we've had there has been absolutely brilliant. So, let's just hope for another good one.
We do have Jake Blackhall available for a word.
With Jake.
Back in the BSR TC, of course. And Jake Blackhall now joins us in the commentary box. Jake, welcome back. And you had a pretty good 4 races, it looks like.
Yeah, thanks guys. It's actually good to be back. It's been a long time coming. It's a great car to drive. It's been a while, but yeah, final race was interesting, getting that 4th place there. But a little bit of issues in the second race that dropped me down to 20 seconds. I could have been a little bit higher there after starting in 9th, but just didn't get the tyre pressures right for that second race, and then just had to work my way back from there. Was lucky with the reverse grid for the final one to sort of put me at the pointy end and got us some good points for Apex Racing.
Was it just the problem with the tyre pressures in race 2? It looked like you might have picked up a slowdown penalty as well, possibly at the start of the race.
Yeah, I got a slowdown penalty at the start, and it just escalated from there throughout the whole race. I just had no rear end grip, so I think that's just where it was in the tyre pressures, and we made an adjustment for the 3rd and 4th race, and it helped greatly for them.
Are we going to see you back for a few more races, Jake, or is this just a bit of a flying visit to Barber?
Oh, maybe a little flying visit on my way through the V8 Supercar schedule as well. I will be back for the Indy Roads race in 2 weeks, I think it is. I'll be back for that one as well for Apex, so that'll be good, and maybe get some more good results for the team and hopefully just boost the championship a little bit.
Awesome stuff. Well, congrats, and good to see you back in the car, and we look forward to seeing you at Indy.
Thank you guys, have a good one.
Cheers, Jake. Jake Blackhall there.
A few more people jumped in there. Let's get our race winner down first, and of course, Dan Craft. Welcome.
Hello. We were hoping to do a Friction Racing takeover with Ross and Colin too.
Oh, well, come on. Let's bring them all down. Let's bring them in.
Yeah, it's been a great night for Friction Racing, of course. Ross Balfour taking a victory in race 3, and Dan Craft taking a victory in race 4.
And Colin, you had a good first race as well. So yes, you guys must be pretty happy right now.
Oh, they won a race. I'll let them talk.
Take it away, Dan. It was a really good evening in a way that we had really good pace all night. Our setup was working really well. Even with Ross's back off grid, he managed a really good first race to get back in the hunt, and ended up winning the second race, which was great.
Yeah, second race.
Ross, we spoke about you in the race, obviously, where you won. Just saying that you've really been the standout rookie of the season so far. Are you enjoying it? You must be having a lot of fun out there right now.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I finished all races tonight. I had a couple of DNFs the past few rounds, so it's good to get 4 finishes on the board tonight. So yeah, I'm happy enough, and to get my first win's great as well.
Not many people take to the car as quickly as you've done so far. So what's the secret?
Great trainer.
Don't listen to anything Colin and Dan say.
That was where I came in.
Duly noted, I think there. So we'll kick them out of the channel now. See you guys. We'll talk to them.
He had the talent, and that's what drew us to him. Like he approached us, and then when we looked at his results, he was clearly good in every car. And then we got in, taught him how to do the Kia, and he's just taken it like duck to water.
Yeah, I have to say, like I said, and when you watch it back, it's never a truer word spoken. So there's a few guys out there that are doing great in the rookie season, but they've all had, a couple of seasons in, different, whether it be like the World Series or the official or the club series. I think you're probably the only driver that's sort of come in that's from, absolutely fresh as in the car, and well, now you've got your first win as well. So well done, awesome achievement.
Same as me now. Already.
Yeah, cheers guys, appreciate it.
And Dan, that final race just got yourself into the lead and just didn't look back.
Yeah, no, it was quite tough to begin with, starting from 10th. Had to work my way through quite a lot of cars to get to the lead, but with those kind of conditions on the reverse grid, you've just got to try and not be overly aggressive, but you've got to make moves happen. Otherwise, you just get stuck behind a slower driver, and the cars in front of you will pull away. So a little bit aggressive to begin with, and a couple of gaps opened up, which was ideal at the right time. But in the end, I knew I had the pace because I was second in race 2, and I would have been top 10 in race 2 if I wasn't taken out. And then race 3, I jumped from 32nd to 13th, so I knew that I had the pace this evening to get a win if I was in the right place at the right time.
And does the win sort of help recover from last week's result when you were all but 5-6 corners away from the victory?
No. Yeah, a win round at Nürburgring would have been special. A bit like a win round Bathurst was special. But yeah, another time maybe.
Well, I'm lucky for that one, but well done again for tonight, all of you. Colin, just to come to you a little bit.
Great.
The first race, I saw you were there or thereabouts, right at the tail of that lead battle. But I'll be honest, mate, I didn't see you for the rest of the night. Where were you?
And I had I got a meatball in race 2. In the second lap, I think it was. Basically, everybody bunched up, and I hit a car, and I had to pit. So that was me. I was at the back for race 3, and I just couldn't make my way through. I just kept getting stuck behind cars. Every time I chose a lane, that was the lane that seemed to stop more than the others. So just typical my luck, really. But I'll come eventually, I'm sure.
Well, oval next week then. Ross, you were particularly vocal the last time we went to an oval.
Particularly bad too.
I do remember on the chat and things like that. So yeah, Motegi, how are we looking forward to that one?
I'm looking forward to 4 DNFs.
I'm sure I'll be fine. Quite a contrast track from Phoenix, so a lot more wide open, and we've seen some impressive races there. So I wish you guys all the best of luck for that one. While you're in here as a team, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thanks again to Steve at FX Colours again for getting us through the next few races. Also Simply Race as well, who've got their name on the cars. So just thanks to them for the support through these next few races.
Awesome, thanks guys, and we wish you the best of luck at Motegi.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Cheers.
Well, Friction Racing there. Great night for them. We'll see what the championship standings look like if they've been updated. We've got a few more drivers coming up for a quick word. We've got Scott Malcolm.
Yeah, let's have a word with Scott.
Started on the pole for the final race of the evening, but despite losing 4 positions, still finished in 5th, and I think Automech will pretty much take that. I think it was a good race 4 for you, Scott.
The team will take that. I'll certainly take that.
Well done. Yeah, well done, Scott. Just talk us through your race a little bit there.
I'm actually still shaking at the moment. I think I was just trying a wee bit too hard. There's one point I went off the track completely, but I managed to hold it and just kept on the tail of the 4 cars in front.
And how do you feel like the season's panning out for you? Because you've had some mixed results as well. This, like say, this must stand out as one of the highlights.
Yeah, this season, yeah. I don't think I've ever had a podium yet, but I'm getting closer. The last couple of weeks has been up and down, but yeah, hopefully this is starting good things to happen.
And how's Automech gelling as a team for this year's series so far? Obviously, new name and much changed in there, or still the same old?
Nah, just the same old. you know what they're like. It's Craig's come in, he's done a good job. Roy as well, he's been brilliant. Rob is just Rob, and I just tag along with him.
Of course, next week, Motegi. Always an interesting one, and to be honest, an oval is it really opens it up for anyone. I think. How do you feel like your chances are there? Maybe getting that elusive podium.
We'll see what happens. I'm not going to say anything, but we'll see what happens.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Anyone you want to give a shout out to while you're in here?
Just thanks to Rob for the setup. He built that setup. It was pretty good, and thanks to the sponsors. Auto Mech, I think that's what they're called, aye. But aye, that's about it, I think.
Awesome, thank you, Scott. Wish you the best of luck next week and to the team as well.
Cheers, Alex.
Scott Malcolm there. Got time for one more? Yeah, we have. Andrew Brown then joining us in the commentary box. And Andrew, was it race 2 you were on the pole? And you were up front for quite a bit, but in the end, I think it just went a bit south towards the end.
Yeah, went downhill after that.
Tell us about your evening then. How would you say it went?
We'll start with first race, and I think I was starting 30th, and I managed to get to 23rd. What was the number the wheel landed on? Found out I was starting in first, and then I was able to defend for quite a while. I got overtaken, and then I touched that curb. I don't know what corner it is, but I touched the curb, and the car bounced like a kangaroo and just hoyed me to the left. I was really confused what happened.
I think it gave you a slowdown penalty as well, did it, at the time, was it?
No slowdown. I just touched... It was the turn... I don't know what turn it is.
Is it the chicane at the end, at the far side of the circuit after the hairpin, or?
It's a fast one.
The one, yeah, it was the one after, wasn't it? And it just shot you off to the left.
I turned,
yeah,
I hit the curb on the left, and I've always hit it pretty much almost every lap, but that time it killed me. And then round 3, I was making up ground, but then I got a net cord off scraping on somebody. Turned out to be a nuclear explosion instead of a scrape. And then round 4, I was starting at the back again, and I managed to finish 20th somehow.
Yeah, in all good, good results. Just a shame, really, for that weird sort of bounce. It could have been a much better result in that first one.
Also, the bug in round 3, I was bad as well.
It says on my screen that you're representing Simpson Racing. Is that right?
I'm helping them out.
Yeah. Some of the information just been a little bit out tonight, so I was just being a bit cagey. So you'll be back next week racing for them as a reserve, I take it, at the moment?
I think so. I'm not usually sure, but it's usually I find out on the next day, or I let them know. Don't tell anybody we're secretly racing with them.
And are you streaming these on Twitch as well? Are you?
I don't usually stream. No.
Okay.
It's usually the other ones that stream it. They don't seem to be around these races anymore.
Okay.
But I just keep the Grip TV paying on climbing.
No problem. I was just going to say, do you want to give them guys and the sponsors for Simpson Racing a shout out, if you know them, that is?
Yep.
Over to you.
Thank you. Oh, did you want me to do something? Sorry, I got a bit lost.
Yeah, did you want to give a shout out to your sponsors and to Grip TV?
Sponsors with Grip TV. Well, what's their website? Twitch. They're on Twitch. I think you put in twitch.tv/GripTV. And I think that gives you whoever's live. The main stream is called Matt Malone. And I think that's twitch.tv/Showdown1983.
Awesome. And Simpson Racing, we just know that it's Simpson Racing that's sponsoring them at the moment, isn't it? So there we go.
If you want me to shout out for them, I don't know anything about it.
That's all right. I think that's enough.
Well, Andrew, next week, Motegi, yes, so you probably think you're going to be there, but racing on an oval in a Kia, what do you think it's going to be like?
Racing in an oval?
Yeah.
I don't know, I never tried it.
Well, I think on that bombshell, we'll cut this interview short, and thanks for talking to us, Andrew.
Cheers.
We'll see you, hopefully, possibly the next week in Motegi.
Right, see you later.
Brilliant interview there, Alex, I think.
Best one to date, I reckon.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but hear that.
Mr. Woodhouse comes in. He has to pop his head in. So
I have to, since it's been slightly ignored down there. No, chaps, it was a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, it was okay for you. I saw you battling with Shellback, was it?
Everybody. I think I battled with everybody today. So I got hit twice in the last race, which is a bit annoying. But I can't complain really. 3 top 20s for Apex, and on to Motegi, and we'll see what can happen next time.
Well, if you do end up racing as a reserve at Motegi, you do actually have some experience of racing there from the Winter Series.
Yeah, it's a good track. It's very challenging, and it's one where it's a bit of a lottery, but also it's a bit of a driver's track as well. And Alex has driven there a lot of times, and he always said to me, mate, Motegi's one where the driver can really make the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll see that again next week.
Well, I wanted to come and chat to you guys, but I won't keep you much longer. I won't keep everybody else either, because we're getting a bit late now.
Oh, I hope that voice gets better as well.
Oh, mate, it sounds disgusting, doesn't it? But, yeah, me too. Thanks, guys.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Woodhouse.
Yeah, great to chat to him. Just before we go off air, we can run you through the championship standings. Wojciech Savievich now leads Michael Shellback by 30 points. Stelin Chepelevsky in third, Alex Smolensky fourth, Simon Field dropping another 2 places down to fifth. Richard Gore in sixth, only 1 point ahead of Ross Balfour now in seventh. Colin Cunniff eighth, Jamie Rushworth ninth. Ben Hackerson running out the top 10 there. Paul Smith continues to lead Nick McCarron, but by only 64 points. Now in the AM standings, Roy Ververke third, Shay Wright fourth, Laura Bond in fifth. And finally, Alpha Tech lead Friction Racing, who are now in second place in the team standings ahead of Apex Racing in third, Sim Racer fourth, and Simpson Racing in fifth. Well, thanks to Alex, iRacing World Championship driver. Great to have him in the commentary box as always. And thanks for watching the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship on Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live, and Motors TV. We will see you next week for more for 4 more thrilling races at Twin Ring Motegi on the oval, of course. So, thank you very much for watching. Good night from Barber Motorsports Park.